in the ass to get working on Linux because I have to like do a bunch of janky stuff, but I've got it working so far.
So Paul.
I'll eventually release. They'll eventually release a package for my like type of Linux, but they haven't released one yet. It's pissing me off. Down by the river.
Okay, I guess I'm just sending only Wolf a stream together invite.
Freaking right.
I'm
You
sorry.
people. You people.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
What's the matter with you people?
Wow, you can't say that. It's racist.
Can't say that.
Wow, a white man telling a Hispanic, a minority, that he can't say that. That's wow, that's crazy.
Listen.
Bro, what are
You're
we doing?
Still
pissing
says
me
connection
off.
failed. What the fuck is going on?
Fucking wolves, you're pissing me off. I need to make that a soundbite. I have a clip of you saying it. I just got to make it into a soundbite.
All right, we should have shared chat on.
I'm gonna call it Piss and Wolf, and you just redeem it.
I titled my stream "Betraying My Ex-Lover."
Oh, Mark's here? Where is he?
Wild.
You did not.
What's up?
Wild.
You did not.
What's good again?
Insane.
That's actually crazy, babe. What the fuck?
Oh, my Laffy Taffy.
I'll be your
Oh
Laffy
my
Taffy.
god.
Laffy Taffy. Laffy Taffy. Oh.
You could have like said that like when I wasn't live.
Why? What's the difference?
I know, right?
That's crazy. That's
Who
wild.
That's
cares?
That's crazy.
Who cares? Wolf declares his love for me every stream, and his wife's okay with it.
Right? Right? There we go.
I've gotten so used to it. I'm just like, okay, cool, bro. Thanks. Appreciate the support.
Why do I have
I
like
do
no
emo for Christy
spell
there.
slots? What the fuck?
I don't know why when Wolf says that fucking phrase. It's pissing me off. It's so funny.
With the sunglasses.
This is stupid. What?
Look at the chat.
With the sunglasses.
George never has my streams up anymore. He's a
believe it.
Turning it on right now.
he's a
I believe
bad
it.
boyfriend.
Yeah, are you able to get in? And you're just having connection issues.
I watch all of his streams. He doesn't even have a stream
This
streak
is
for me.
my last time trying before I reset.
He doesn't have a stream
You watch
streak
his
for me.
streams as if he ever streams. What do you mean? Now I know you're lying.
I have a freaking oh, thank you, baby, for the resub.
Shut.
You shut.
I think I have a 10-day.
I don't think it's gonna work.
Is it 10-day?
Keep saying
stream?
connection error.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
George, what'd you do?
Connection failed.
I don't. I forgot what we had. That happened before. I forgot what we did to fix it.
Yeah, hold on. I'll be back.
I'll be back.
There was a NVIDIA update, I think. I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
What are you even talking about? You're just saying words.
I'm not just saying words. I'm saying that there was a NVIDIA update.
That's Wolf's
You're just,
go-to.
you're
whenever-
just
doesn't
forcing
understand.
your vocal cords into certain positions and pushing air through them to make sounds that form tangible sentences.
Wait,
Brody's just yapping to yap at this point now.
wait, why do I have
I said
Menthar's...
tangible instead of like audible or like.
Why do I have
I was about to say, what the
Menthar's
fuck
back...
does tangible have to do with it?
Why do I have Menthar's backpack with their clothes?
You're a tangerine.
You can't say that.
Actually, to make sure my stream is not incredibly loud. It shouldn't be. I feel like I haven't streamed in forever. Why does it feel like it's been so long since I've streamed?
It's so long.
Did we lose Menthara? No, we didn't, did we?
Oh, she's there.
I have
That was Orin, remember?
yeah. Oh, that's right.
Wait.
Okay, that's why I have her
Wait.
shit.
Why is there no? Okay, there's no audio for you guys.
I was like, I have a backpack with her camp clothes, her underwear, and her
God,
shoes.
I'm echoing twice now. Properties.
I was like, what the fuck?
Oh
I know.
yeah, that's why. Okay, and then I need that shite. I gotta fix my stuff.
Tree.
Beam bop 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 boom. First
Think
off,
can't-
I ain't a rapper, so quit
Yeah,
rapping.
rapper.
Do I need to do? Stream mix. This is what I need. Okay, there we go. Now the game audio and everything should be working. Can y'all speak for me?
Hi, hello.
Okay. You can hear Christy, so I got to turn her down to 0. It will
Oh.
be good.
What? That's wild. That's crazy. Wow.
Oh wow.
Let's crank
Oh, wow.
my thing down a little bit. Oh wow.
Oh, wait. I still have the
Wow.
golden bell. It's only functional in the
Oh
gauntlet
wait, I
of
still have
Shar.
the golden
I
bell.
can't even
Oh
use this
wait,
anymore.
I still have the golden bell. Oh wait. I'm just repeating it so that it's it's echoing on my stream.
What the heck?
There you go, Gab. Added you. There you go.
Alrighty.
Oh,
Oh,
wait, what?
no update. What just happened? We unlocked the ancient tome somehow.
Secrets are guarded by
Apparently.
indecipherable glyphs. Without a
I'll
key,
talk, but
they
I'm
may
not
be locked
full of
away
it,
forever.
Spitting facts, that's how it's done. Done.
Wait, is there another part to this book?
Yeah, I did it.
Oh.
It's been done.
It has been done. The dark deed you requested, sir, has been done.
What the fuck?
Master has given Gabby a sock. Gabby is a free elf.
Oh, we exploring down here. Or no, we came from this way, didn't we? We're about to go in these walls.
yeah, we're about to go in the door.
These walls.
These walls, Ray. I'll shit all over these walls, Ray. Oh yeah, let's kill these assholes.
Oh, I'm down. I'm gonna go make them. I'm gonna go make them wet first.
What?
Oh,
What?
okay.
What? There you go.
Moisten them up.
Moisten them up real nice. They're trying to kill those poor refugees. They have terrible
don't
aim.
care
They
about the
got
refugees. I'll
fucking
kill the refugees
stormtrooper
too,
aim.
but-
Look at this. They're
That
hitting the
is
wall.
Crazy.
How are they missing?
The guy's name is Sconner. I don't really care about him.
Nightblade Dogaletto. Oh my god.
I'll hit him eventually.
Why does that sound like the dude from Fast and Furious, Vin Diesel character?
Oh,
Toretto.
fucking-
Diesel.
yeah.
Dogaletto.
What the heck?
He cares about family.
Oh, yeah, there is a part, another part for the book in Act 3.
Have to keep going.
Oh, I clicked something.
Oh, wait.
Gigantic
oh,
rock.
combat.
You see this gigantic rock in front of me?
Yep.
I don't see a gigantic rock in front. Oh, I do see it.
No thanks.
Are y'all in combat or no?
Oh, but I'm about to make these guys hella wet.
Am I gonna
Gotta
be
stop
wet?
saying stuff like that.
You will not be.
Okay,
I
good.
can avoid. I can avoid
good.
making you wet. All right, here we go. Making them wet. Been wetified. A heretic in our midst.
Do it. Kill him.
Oh, hey, hold on. Before anybody does anything, I just.
Yeah, they're literally perfect. Oh, I'm gonna get fucked by this fucking oil barrel.
I can't
Wait, let me
even
pick it up.
Okay, pick what you want.
Okay.
Target is blocked. I can't shoot them straight across. That's so dumb. I'll do this then. Whatever.
What do you mean?
I can't hit all 4 of them. Ugh, this is so dumb. I'll hit these 3.
Nice.
Amazing. And then I can do this.
Wait, hold on. See if I can push this motherfucker. Okay,
Amazing.
okay. And then, wait, I'm gonna do, look, I'm gonna do a wolf impression.
Oh. Waiting for it. Oh, that is incredible.
Yeah.
That's thing
Oh!
complete. You need to play a
They're
song.
prone.
Nice. Get him, Christy. Damn.
Damn. This reminds me of a song.
Oh, shit. George, get him. He's sleeping.
I'm still sneaking. Let me see.
I know, you could literally come up and crit this
Dude,
bitch.
you are a fucking mountain. What are you doing?
Holy
Excuse
shit,
me.
he is huge.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Oh my god.
Oh, where's this guy at?
He's
he's
laying here on the
laying on the
ground.
ground.
Oh, that guy. Okay, yeah, bet.
Lying on the cold hard ground.
Silent. Uh-oh, I clicked something.
That's okay, I did too,
Nobody heard
and
that.
nothing happened.
Hmm.
Don't
Every
worry,
time
nothing
you
happened.
step, the entire ground shakes, and somehow you're sneaking.
Yeah, dude, this is about to be a crit. Get his
Fuck
ass.
it, I'm bored. I'm bored.
Wow, it missed.
That's insane.
No. Call it a do-over.
Run it back.
George needs some dicks.
Yeah, I need decks.
He
Don't
definitely
we have
needs some
those
dicks.
fucking gloves that give your dex to 18? You should put those on.
I got him.
Oh,
Yes,
you
yeah, she
got
has.
him.
Yeah.
How do
I'm
you
just
Well,
looking
have
for
Christy,
aesthetics
start
now.
bonking these hoes with your shadow blade.
Remember,
I'm
Wolf,
just
I'm trying to
kidding.
build the Oathbreaker set, but even though it's like nothing.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I
I'm
look
so sorry,
menacing, but
guys.
I
I
hit like
didn't
a
know
wet
that I
noodle.
didn't hit end turn.
No, you're good. On Diddy.
Not an illicit.
Not an illicit.
Oh!
Wow, that's a mighty hit for that, bitch.
Nice.
As if it's stunned.
Murderous cut.
Murderous cuck. Wow.
Wow.
Oh, they
Reported.
just
What?
went
The dead
through an
refugees ran
explosion
away.
over
They were
there.
smart. They knew I was going to kill them next.
George, how did you get hurt?
Was that?
You're hurt so much. Oh no, they blew up. Oh no.
I'm so upset. Oh man.
they ran in
Oh
there like
jeez.
dumbasses.
Yeah, they didn't even look at the
Oh.
trap. Damn, you stupid.
I
He
want to
looks
see one
like
of them
it.
though. The other two, like,
They just booked it. They ran.
No traps, please.
yo, y'all want some fried halfling? Why does he look like the? Why does he look? If you examine him,
Wow.
he looks like the halfling version of Gortash.
That's what I was gonna say.
Why does he look like that?
I don't know. He really does though. I don't
Should've
know
named
where
him
we're...
like. Oh! There's some trap there.
What y'all do?
I'm okay.
Ah.
That was pretty funny though.
Just walked right into that trap. Hey guys, there's not a
Right,
trap
babe.
here anymore.
Yeah, you're welcome. See if I can do it.
It's a friendly looking shadow.
There we go.
Don't forget, I can still
Nope.
summon us.
You can still summon us.
I have us. I can conjure us.
All right, Chrissy, you do it. I can't do it.
Right tool will do the trick.
Well, Chris can't do it
Crazy.
either.
I'm a
There she
glowing
is.
giant now.
If everyone else
Wow, everyone's gonna see us. We're a beacon in the dark.
Wow, George, why would you do that?
There's a rat! Cranium rat!
a knife in the dark.
Is he gonna get us?
Oh shit.
Cranium
Hey, that's
rat.
Pat.
Cranium
We
rat?
should, we
Pat,
should
it's
kill it.
That
Okay, you
implies
don't see it?
Pat has a cranium. I'm just kidding, Pat.
Oh,
It's a
here
joke.
comes. Oh, it didn't do anything.
That
Should we
is a
kill that
joke.
thing?
This calls for careful footwork.
That
aren't
was
they
a
all
joke.
aren't they all connected to something?
Yeah,
I
there's a
don't
guy
know.
in the. Y'all haven't done this yet?
Always. I've done this. There's always a
Okay.
fucking
God damn it,
guy.
George! I haven't beaten the game.
I know. I'm talking about Wolf though.
You guys haven't
Mostly.
done
Ah.
this?
Yeah, so Wolf is like more than one person.
My fault. He's also
gay,
gay, so he's two
I'm,
people.
I'm
Hey, there's a
following
thing
y'all.
down here.
Oh yeah. There's a waypoint. Got it.
Oh, lovely.
So I can't believe the G in LGBTQ stands for George. Wild.
I know.
Ad hominem.
Crazy.
Defamation.
Ad defamim. Ad
Ad
defaminem.
Okay.
Wants to
Steve,
talk
what
to
do you
the
mean? You
mad
can't even
rat
hear us
king.
talking.
Never wanted
The
these
Rat
apart.
King?
Yeah.
Hey, that's all grease and stuff.
Yeah, I see that.
I feel like,
Time to
where is the Rat King? Is he not up here? Dude, that dude, whatever.
Is he down there? Look, there's a
Did
little room down
he-
here.
I just remember coming up here, fighting something at some point, and blowing myself up and dying.
Just don't hit that rat.
Hit the
Whatever
rat?
you do.
Oh, I didn't get a survival check here. Maybe there's a.
I'm gonna come
dirt
see if
mound.
I've got a thing.
everything.
Well, we both suck.
Survival check. Let the giant do it. I got it. I hate myself.
Yeah.
I got it.
Oh, there it is.
Let's go swimming.
Um,
I'm just kidding.
Anything even
There
we
you go.
meet somebody here. I can't remember. But
Scroll.
I think
Cloud
she's dead.
kill. Nice.
Cool.
I think she's dead. Cause you meet somebody there, don't you?
I do not remember. It's been so long since I've played this game, and it's been so long since I've gotten. It's even longer since I've gotten Act 3.
What's the other way? Ah, there's more grease
There's not
and
really
shit down
anywhere
that
you
way.
can jump over there. So
No.
Let's see what you're hiding.
There's some pool.
Have to keep going.
Kind of want to go get this chest. Oh wait, someone already got the chest. Why do you do that?
Was it these grease monkeys over here? I mean, methods.
Oh, whoa.
what?
Whoa,
Oh,
Gavin.
Frieza, relax. And then we have Frieza over here.
I feel like it is tied to these guys, and there's a. Oh yeah.
I see Wiener.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
a whole
yeah.
army here. I wouldn't.
Yeah, there's a big dude up there.
Yeah.
Some grease elementals.
What's his name? The
Let's throw the room
no,
powder
there
bomb
he
in
is.
there.
Alis.
Alis.
That's the Rat King or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
We should throw the
Perhaps
room
we should-
powder bomb over Peg.
Oh, bet.
over
I'll be
there.
right back.
We should totally do it. I feel like we'll be safe. If one person goes and like listen. If we light the place up because of all that grease and then just one person goes in and throws the rune powder bomb, I think we'd be good. What do you think?
Might have to, that person might have to take one for the team, but
Right,
not
but
it.
we're all gonna be. What do you mean not it? You're the strongest. You could probably throw it the farthest.
I mean, I can fly in and get the closest.
Yeah.
I thought there was like dialogue here.
Is
Yeah,
there?
there is dialogue.
I mean,
here.
there
Yeah,
might
there
be.
is.
Oh, okay.
No,
Well, then
there
go.
is.
Let's go do that then. Let's go do dialogue.
Go ahead, do dialogue.
Okay,
You
I'll
wanna do
go.
it? I don't know if there's any dirt stuff.
Nope.
Talk to the rat.
Goodbye. And then we could just give her the
Ah,
room
see,
powder
look.
cake if it goes bad.
They're actually pretty.
Right.
They're actually chill
Wait,
with
should
it.
I
They
have-
don't have any issue.
Should I have a potion of animal speak on?
Yeah, pop that and talk to the rat.
Cranium rat. You mean tell me that
Also,
the
do
cranium
you
rat
need to
can't frickin'
like
speak?
buff or anything like that?
Really pissing me off.
We see,
Why
we
would
We
you
know.
see, we know.
Oh no, babe. So go walk up
Jinx.
to the guy then. Over there.
He don't
If
know
they
I'm
see,
here.
They know.
Fuck
They see
him.
you.
No, he doesn't. He sees y'all.
Fucking retarded rat.
What's this?
Oh!
cousin?
You can't say that.
Another absolutist come to see what we did to poor old Sally.
Why is that,
Your
Mike?
god blood took her mind, cultist, so Bereki took her head.
Wow, you look sick,
and
dude.
I burned the flesh from her bone.
I wish
I
your
know,
crown
my-
was silver
my
like
new-
your armor, though.
And now
I know, my
you come
new
to
armor is
interrupt
so
the
cool.
funeral rites.
Yeah, it looks
I-
You can
good.
dye the crown. Do you have like a dye to make it silver?
Maybe.
Yes,
I
cousin.
could try dyeing it.
An excellent idea.
I got this Campbell's
Cousin,
buffalo
soup?
style
we will
mac
take
and
you in
mac and
return.
cheese stuff, and it's not
He
nearly
says
as good
you
as like the
look
sausage
just
one
like
they have.
kindling for Saren's
Ew.
funeral
I thought you were
pie.
gonna say
Sounds
Campbell's
gross.
chicken noodle soup.
Campbell's mac and cheese. No, thank you.
It's actually really good. It's like surprisingly good. The sausage one though, the spicy sausage, is really good. Chicken one's
Bro
not
would
that
like
good.
sausage.
Yeah. Yeah, I would. You got a problem with that?
No, I'm a fan of glizzies too,
I
my
don't
man.
know what to do here, dude. I'm not even near you, really, but I technically am, I
Well,
guess.
Well,
You have
what
it
should
wrong about
say
the
here?
absolute. Cousin looks like he fell out of an.
He
You
is
did.
clan, summoned in the place of the
have to do
friends
that.
that
Wild.
are lost. Sarin, Bereki, and
Dude, this
I,
staff
we
looks
were
cool.
the 3 finest thieves in Baldur's Gate. We broke into the offices of Gortash.
This guy dyes his hair with
discovered
Kool-Aid.
He was with the Absolute too.
I do what you gotta do.
Your fellow cultists hunted us, so we hid down here. We were safe, and so was our loot, until the darkness soured Saren's mind. She kept our
The
treasure from us,
darkness.
said Bereki and I had gone strange. Hush, cousin. Sarin turned into a cultist herself, so we did what we had to. Bereki wept until his voice was gone, and then he was gone too. Leaving
no.
only
What
me
the hell?
to conduct Sarin's rites. And my cousins here. You cannot conduct the rites without a clan to bear witness. Or
Bear
some fuel
witness.
for the fire.
Persuasion your highest? Yeah, persuasion or deception are your highest rolls.
Yeah, deception. You're a dirge, so.
Well, yeah, but okay. I didn't know if persuasion you can convince them to fight each other. That'd be sick.
Oh, nat. Oh, that was a nat
Good.
20.
That's crazy.
That is good. She deserves
Well, why does he look
more
like you?
than me. Pay your
Oop.
respects as you pass.
'Cause he's a hot dude.
And do not come
Oh.
back.
Brody would give himself scales to
This
look.
is
He said don't come
Saren's
back.
final resting
Ah.
place, and a killing ground for all who come to disturb her.
Oh.
Chrissy, throw the room.
Do we have
bomb.
to? Do we even have to fuck with these guys? I don't even know.
No, this is
No,
all
but I
optional.
also kind of want his staff. I don't know what it does. It just looks really cool.
Do you even get it?
I think
I
you get
don't
his
know.
robe and his staff. If I'm not mistaken. I don't know what they do. I forgot what they do. I hate this fucking game.
Oh god, you feel that shake? The whole ground shook because the freaking mountain just fell over.
Thank you, baby.
Okay, I'm gonna run away, and you guys throw the rune powder barrel. Just kidding. We could save that.
Or
for a
you
bigger
can
fight.
actually, I have an idea. You could just drop the barrel off up there and then when run out and then we shoot with
hate
the
this game.
fucking fireball. And it'll explode.
Or skeleton.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, babe, you're not paying attention. That's Saren's skeleton. That's the whole reason why they're here. Trying to remember if there's something over here. Okay, I'm getting sick and fucking tired of falling.
I'll set you loose.
Saren's
Well,
skeleton.
Brody, you
maybe-
a grease monkey. God damn. There you go.
I want to kill this guy.
There is something here in this chest here. You guys want
Well,
to?
we're gonna
If
have
you
to
guys
kill
want
him.
to fight this guy, we can.
We should
We should probably do a long rest though, because I don't have any.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
have any
long rest would
skill
probably be
or
good.
spell slots.
This fight might be kind of tough, so I think a long rest would be pretty good.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. It's impressive.
Did you drop the barrel off up there?
Oh, no, I haven't
not
dropped
doing
anything
that.
off.
Oh,
Not
okay.
doing that.
I think we should. I think we might. It might be better to save the rune powder barrel for like a bigger fight.
Sure.
I think saving it maybe for like even like the Raphael fight.
Sure. We got a globe of
Yeah, you gotta get the
invulnerability
globe.
thing. The globe.
Oh, I'm gonna see if I could dye
What
my
do you mean I have to get the
headpiece.
globe of invulnerability? I don't need that.
You can do that and then blow the whole fucking room up around you.
True. Hey, Christy, your boo thing wants to talk.
Oh, look at, looks better. Look
Does
at my
it look good?
headpiece. Yeah. It dyed the jewel too.
Oh, you look
Ooh,
so
that looks way
good,
better.
dude.
That looks way better.
Fucking hate
Gloves
these
and
grease
boots are out of
balls.
place, but
First in my heart.
Where's Withers?
In the camp.
I'm here at the camp, you asshole.
Discussion with Missoura to
yeah, let me give you guys some privacy here.
Shit. Father's been taken. And Missoura started to scheme. By all the hounds of the hells,
There's
what is she
Aelin.
planning?
Oh, there he is. Oh, wow, this singing's crazy.
Freaking
I
love
couldn't
it.
even fathom a guess. Though, I doubt we'll need to wait long
Hey,
for
Christy,
answers. We'll have answers soon
whenever
enough.
you're done, you should definitely
Let's
try
talk to
to
Missoura.
pickpocket
Until
Withers
then,
and get all
may
our
my
gold
father
back,
keep
because he has
safe,
2,800
whatever could
fucking
he's
gold
been
on him.
flown to.
That's insane.
Bow before me, I am the Slayer! No, I'm just playing.
Can I get this through here?
Mind flayers are like devils.
Why am I as
with
tall as
clever-
that blind?
Maybe it's true.
Look at
Or
that.
maybe
I gotta
he
eat
made
this
an
thing over
offer
here. Oh, don't
she-
break it.
Look, check this out. Even a strong
Oh,
Are you dumb?
Break it.
I asked
Imagine if you
Father
hit
if
this
he
guy.
Perception failed.
Oh,
a stroke survived.
I didn't even see him there. I'll be honest.
Like, to these
Oh
murders
my
out.
god, dude.
So,
What are y'all doing?
He throws it next to the Oathbreaker Knight.
I was trying to give Christy and Wilson privacy.
Ooh, money.
So yeah, just try and pickpocket him until you get it.
What? What am I doing?
Pickpocket
Pocket the
Withers.
Better be cautious.
He's got so much money on him.
I don't need
He's not gonna do
Stack
anything,
this
dude,
shit
I
up so
promise.
high.
Let's get in and out.
Hello, Polish hoax. How are you doing?
Five-finger discount.
Just keep trying. He's not gonna do anything. You could, if you just hit the gold, you could hit enter and it's so much faster, if that makes sense.
Little bit of this, little bit of that. What to choose,
Here.
Well, how high is the roll for you?
please?
What are y'all doing? Y'all
Yeah,
Let's say it in the-
26.
Yeah. You could totally
go.
do it.
Perfect.
Just keep trying.
Hope you're doing well, Polish. We're all doing pretty good.
'Cause you have all that added stuff. Hello.
who are you blocking?
Damn, Christy.
You?
Get our money, Christy.
It's rude.
That's how many times fucking Wolf
That's interesting.
respect.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Speaking of which, I need the respec.
Oh my god.
Surely no one
Kidding.
will notice.
I have to get
Damn,
one more
dude.
level, I think. One more level, I'll be able to get the globe.
You're
But
so
yeah, we're doing
unlucky.
well.
How haven't you hit it? Do you need?
Or I'm doing well.
Uh.
I can't speak for everybody else.
I bet they're showing a Qdoba commercial.
I know.
Freaking love Qdoba.
Me too. I miss Qdoba.
Just accidentally yeeted a candlestick somehow.
I don't think I can get this.
I
You
would
could
love a game
totally
like
get.
this.
It's only a 26, dude. I don't understand how you're so unlucky right now or something.
George, imagine a
It's
game
only
like this where you can actually like
26.
build your own house.
Yeah,
and
but
shit.
she
that would be so
has-
cool.
She has like, proficiency and all that shit, and she literally unlocks doors that have like 30 locked, dude. Like, come on.
Christy, are you gonna pickpocket this guy or what? Yeah, what if we both do it at the same time?
Oh, go ahead, try to do it.
Yeah,
hold
you
on, I need to
do
be
it.
over
Oh
here.
my
Hold up,
god,
Uncle.
he's literally going to bonk Withers over his head.
I'm gonna bonk you.
He's bonking. Yeah, go ahead, try.
Okay, you know what?
It's the roll for me is 28, so it's no no. It's so crazy. I literally just there you go. Damn. See, that's how Christy got to do it.
How do you
Dude,
do
you're
that?
not-
No.
Oh!
I
I
just
got
picked it up. I can pack it. Oh,
I got it. I got all the gold back.
I'm
Nice.
sorry. Wow, I'm sorry. Do I gotta
Time to
ask?
press ahead.
Wow.
I think do we get another feat at level 11 or whatever the next level is?
I think it's
I
12.
guess. Are you talking shit over there?
'Cause I kind of want to get a feat that lets me wear heavy armor
Feet.
because I want to wear this freaking. I want to wear this.
Bro said feet.
Oh, the Emperor armor.
Shit's sick, dude.
Hell yeah, dude. Good job.
Wear it. I can't. Us.
We going to bed?
Yeah, we going to bed?
Yeah, I
Okay.
forgot where we go to sleep.
Oh
here.
shit, look at
It's over here,
Christy's
fireplace.
statue, dude. Holy shit.
Should have been
What
me.
statue? Oh, that one.
You're the
That
true
makes me want
hero,
to play
dude.
freaking Oblivion. Seeing
The
the
hero
statue makes me want to
Kavash.
play Oblivion. Yes, I want the
hero
statue.
Kavash.
Uh oh.
Whoa!
In Bruma.
That was a whole lot of dick in my face.
What?
That was crazy, wasn't it?
That's the same amount of dick every Thursday night for Wolf, so.
It was like
What's the
zoomed
point?
in.
Hey, it's your girl, Wolf.
Zora, mommy Zora, what's up? That's huge.
Try to rizz up the fucking.
Oh shit, she brought two baddies with
Whoa,
her.
whoa, hold on. I'm about to be really jealous of
A
Christy
baddie
and
with her
Will
two
right
baddie
now.
friends.
Sisters, be my testament. Notum sit in Beator.
Notum sit in Beator.
I want her outfit. What the fuck?
You've heard of such
I
Yeah.
want her.
Sisters
Outfit,
of
yeah.
justice,
Sorry.
adjudicators of diabolical contracts and bargains.
Holy hells.
Yeah, same. If I was surrounded by that, I'd probably say holy hells too.
Wow, your outfit is like Wild West goth.
Please introduce me to your friends.
You do not call
Is what I would
upon
say.
the sisters. They come
Wait.
when the hells demand
We didn't.
witness.
Did we say that?
Your
I did.
parasite links with
I think that's her
Will's,
auto
and your
answer.
memories flow into him. He sees his father's flight from Worm's Rock and hears
Man, this
Mizora's
bitch is so
words
dumb.
to
She thinks that we
Shit.
can't save
Where
his
did
dad
Lord
without
Josh
her.
send my
Like
father?
we're shit. Bitch,
How do
fuck
I
you.
save him?
Say about that, Will.
Infernos contractos te vocamos.
There- if I know anything about this game, there's always another way.
Contractos te vocamos.
I cannot
Always
take
another
Will
way.
seriously with the whitey tighties.
Your
He's so
contract, Will, signed in blood, forged in fire,
Mizora is so
bound in
hot, though.
bone, but not unbreakable. A life for a life. No contract is ended without sacrifice.
No,
The cost
don't do it, Will.
must be paid.
Fuck this bitch. We ain't signing nothing. I want my lawyer.
I want my lawyer.
I want my lawyer.
A
Gotta call
choice
Saul. Hold up.
is before you.
I
Option
better
one.
call Saul.
I show you the way to your father. I guarantee him no harm except that from you and your allies. And you pledge your soul to me.
You see that
Pledge
little
to
clause there?
Rosario
Except
in a
that
pact
from you and your allies?
eternal.
Nah, this bitch is fucking
Option two.
stupid. I ain't.
I
No.
break your pact, and you are freed from your duty. Your father dies by his enemy's hand, and
No, he
Baldur's
won't.
Gate loses. its greatest champion.
You might die by my
No,
hand
it's
if I'm
not.
bored
Name
enough.
your sacrifice.
No,
Bloody
fuck her.
Zariel. I won't let her take Will.
Ooh.
Silence,
Carla's hot.
Mizora, you asshole!
Choose.
Nope. 4. Fuck this out. Damn. Double cake.
Let your father die.
Look at the fucking crevices going on back here.
Wait, but if he breaks his wait, but if he breaks the pact, then doesn't his
Break the
father
pact.
die?
Nah, no.
No,
There's no.
You can-
Listen, that's what I was saying. There's
Shouldn't I say
there's
3?
no way.
Or 2 or 3?
No.
no. Do
He's
4.
not gonna
Do
die.
4.
He's not gonna die.
Trust us.
There's no way, dude. There's no way he dies because this game always gives you a second fucking wait. I'm telling you.
Yeah, and
He don't have
anyway,
the silence.
why do we care?
Yeah, fuck them both for real. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I'm
Break
just
the
telling
pact,
you.
Will. I tell him to break his pact.
You
That's what I
don't
do.
need. Watch, she gonna stick around anyway. I'm telling you. I've seen something.
Because if
I
the
saw
enemy
this.
doesn't kill Will's dad, I might just fireball him. So we'll see.
He keeps his powers too. I promise. He's everything's fine. She does this to scare you, just to get
Alright.
your.
You damned wretch! Father,
He's not dead, dude.
do
He's
it.
not gonna die either,
Break the
unless
pact.
we kill him. I think. I don't know.
I'm actually genuinely like
Fiat
curious what Will's
Ita.
original story was supposed to be because y'all know they redid it like last second, right?
Yeah, I'm curious too.
Yeah, his entire story was rewritten at the last minute for whatever fucking reason. Just some generic
because-
bullshit hero.
I was gonna say yeah, because he was so boring. His
Didn't
character's
think you
of
had it
course
in
like,
you.
oh, he sold his soul to save the
Seems my
city,
boy's
and he can't talk about it.
all
But
Guys, I
wonder
think
if
we
it's
killed
like-
Will's dad.
Fussing about your father.
No, we didn't.
You made your
no,
choice.
we didn't. I promise.
You knew the terms. You know
And why do
No,
we
yeah,
care?
I'm really
I think
curious
I'll
what his
stick
original
around.
story was going to be because apparently it was
for
like
the greater good.
I've never
supposed to be more
done
impactful
this.
at the end of the
For
game.
I've never
entertainment.
done this choice. I always did the.
Wow,
No, yeah. You don't have to listen to her.
you're a Mizora simp.
Oh, Yerger is here.
Nice
Who?
place you have here,
Oh.
little rabbit.
What is he doing here?
Hey, what's up, big
Use
booty
a few
boy?
more
Why you
trophies,
bigger than me?
perhaps. I'll keep this short. My
That's
absence will be noted.
what he said to his wife.
You need the Orphic hammer. and
Oh,
I
he's
know
trying to make a deal
where
with
you need
us.
to look.
Yeah, he's
The
gonna try and
House
help
of
us.
Hope, our mutual friend, Raphael's abode.
Yeah, remember he's gonna help us fight
Name's
Raphael.
Halsic in the lower city.
Damn, bro, this dude
Find
needs
her.
some
We
chapstick.
shall take it from there.
That's right, because in the was it the Shadow Curse lands we ended up not killing him?
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked to him.
Dare I
Diplomacy.
invite you to stay? Hello? We can invite
Yeah.
him?
I snore and kill in my sleep.
Oh.
Forget I was ever here, but remember what I said.
Hey Wolf, look at this sofa.
Maybe.
What?
It's
I'm
a-
in the middle of a cutscene.
Oh, he
It's a
just
sofa built
he
for two.
smiled at you, Chrissy. He's gonna put his
Nice.
Yerger in your you know where.
It's a fuck off.
Where is Will?
So Santa, I want.
he's over here.
Have a joke.
That's so funny.
Gods, I spent 7 years choked by Mazora's leash. And I spent 7 years hoping to break free.
Can't stop laughing.
I never knew freedom could taste so bittersweet.
Save me. Pick me up. Pick me up. I want to do something. Pick me up.
Nah,
Stop
he's still
laughing, bro.
alive,
It's
dude, I
not that
promise.
funny.
Thank you.
Relax.
Like the monk
2.
from that freaking amulet. Hey, yo, Mizora, what's goody?
I didn't. I don't. My sacrifice kept Baldur's Gate safe from Tiamat's rage. But that doesn't mean that the leash never chafed. That I was content to lap up whatever nonsense Mizora fed me.
Why am I looking at the floor?
The leash has been broken and my father left for dead. Tomorrow I celebrate my gain. But today, I mourn my loss.
He's not fucking dead.
Passes. In the
Yeah, she literally
stillness,
tells you he's
we
not.
Find a mote of tranquility.
The Raven Guard name now lives solely with me.
Like,
I will
okay,
make it
let's go
count
to the
for
beginning
something.
again. Why are we trusting what a devil says?
I signed
You
his
of all
life
people
away
should know this,
before the
Will.
Hell's
Shut the
Witnesses.
like. Who
It
cares?
would be easier to
She
drink
just wants
the
your soul.
sticks down to the
Yo, Gab,
last
you cool?
drop than to alter
See a little
his
fluster.
fate.
No,
I'd be a
I'm
fool
mad.
to wish otherwise.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
We obtain the final 2 nether stones and take back our minds and the city from the brain.
I wish they made his horns cooler. Those kind of suck.
Go on then.
Capricious. This music. Actually, I don't know if either of you, any of you,
I have the music on. It's pretty
none
sick.
of you
Yeah.
have played Claire Obscura, have you?
No, not yet.
Ah,
Hey, there's a hookah in
game
here.
is
Oh,
so
hell
good. That
yeah.
music. I actually still listen to the music just occasionally. So good. Story. Y'all have to play Claire Obscura. You have to.
No, I
Christy,
wanted to sit the other
eventually
way.
you will.
Hey, look, we got grub.
Here,
Hey,
sit
look
on
at
it.
this ember.
Okay, wait, hold on. I got you. I'm gonna turn around.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay,
look,
now
Ember's
try.
here.
Yeah.
Ember's here? Kill it. I mean... Hey, what happens if we punch this child?
What do we do?
We're smoking.
You know what? I am fireballing you, Lazel. Just
You
kidding, I won't.
fucking- Who puts the dishes on the floor? Jesus.
Yeah.
I just try to talk to Lazel, and she goes, I'm not here for chit-chat. Make yourself useful.
Yeah, what's up? I'm actually about to do it right now.
What up? Where's the...
Here, I'll give you live
that?
action noises.
Okay.
Oh, man. I mean... At least pull up a freaking comfy chair. Jeez. Christy, they're sitting on this stool.
Well, that was the chair that was in front of me.
Wait, I can stack stuff
Hey,
on
yo,
top of...
what are you doing to me, dude? Yeah, they're fucking stacking. Oh my god.
The hookah on your head. That's funny.
Oh, wait, here we go. Oh, no, wait, hold up.
What if I stand up?
There you
What happens if
go.
I stand up?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I can't sit back down now, though. Yeah, I can't sit back down now.
That's funny.
What happens if I move? That just moves everything.
Thank you.
Oh, Mazora's still
Like,
here.
Not enough space.
I told you. That bitch don't want to
Little
leave.
Will's all grown
She like us.
up. I can't wait to see
Here we go. What if I
trouble
do
he
this
gets
and then I do
into.
this? Space. Piss off.
Oh, man.
Piss off. Okay, hold on. What if I swap
God
these?
damn.
I put this one
Pissing
here, and I
me
put this one
off.
here.
Pissing me off. Are you making this child cry? Cause good.
Cause good. Ha! There we go. Amazing.
You still
Incredible.
saying the same shape?
My bargain was uncommonly reasonable. A single
What happens if
soul
I do
for the
this?
return
I wanna
of Baldur's
kick her
Gate's
out.
most
Not this one.
beloved duke.
Why's
A
my
real
titty look
bargain,
bumpy?
I should think.
What?
I never thought the legendary blade of
No
frontier
kids
Oh my
allowed.
God,
I'm telling
I'm
her no
almost
kids
in the
allowed.
ceiling.
freedom.
I can't
Not
see
very
anything.
valorous,
Oh no, what
if
have I
you ask
done?
me. But
Is that okay,
There we go.
does a
everybody?
mean old devil like
Sure,
me
yeah, I'm
know
down.
about
No
heroes?
kids allowed. Come back in 10 years.
Sure. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I already told you no.
Can you put more?
Yeah. I
The
can't reach it though.
Absolutists
Hold on.
worked a number on me at Moonrise. And you're the best hope I've got at
Hold on.
payback.
I got an idea.
No
What if we
one
scoot
crosses
it
the
over-
Hell's children without getting
Get out of the
Move that.
camp. You fake ass kid.
What if we restack it close to the bed?
Oh, look at
Good.
Christy. She's getting lore.
Why? I'm supplying Will with every scrap of his infernal power. I've paid my
Oh,
dues
I'm in the
many
ceiling.
times over. I tell you what.
He's in the
When
ceiling.
the time comes to squish that
Oh my
basic
God.
body of a brain,
I'm in the ceiling.
I'll lend
Here,
you
get
a
down for a
hand.
second. I wonder. Hold on. If we put this down here, and then we grab this stool, and then we do a little bit of this, and then we gotta put this here. I put this on top of that, and then we sit up here.
Oh shoot. Can you see above?
Yeah. I
Hold on.
don't be in the ceiling.
Hold on. Oh, I can't. You can't get on it.
You can't. I move.
Oh, there we go.
I was just standing in the way apparently.
Dude, my entire head's just in this second area. It's so funny.
I gave you nicer camp clothes, babe.
Hold on, let's see.
Oh, I'm up.
What? What did you
I
just
was
do?
up in the ceiling for a second.
We just
Hold
had
on,
a
hold on.
mountain fall through the roof.
Hold on. No.
Hold on.
Trying to get back up here. There we go.
This.
Aw. Whatever. All right, let's go to bed.
Whatever.
Okay.
We going to bed? Yes. I would like to go to bed.
Yes,
I would
let's
like
go
to
to
go
bed.
to bed.
Would you like to go to bed?
I would like to go to bed.
Hello. Uh-oh. What's going on?
Oh, this
Oh.
sex scene.
Hey,
No.
buddy, how you doing? Hey, what's going on? What's up?
Really?
Lonely?
Yeah, this is it. Yep.
Is where a person can be the truest
Oh God.
without guile. Without
I want
Disgusting.
some privacy, y'all.
Oh
Ew,
my
he even got
God.
his dogs out.
You did well to see off the Githyanki who had invaded mine.
I'm about to
And now
invade
that
some.
you have
Is he?
seen where I come
He's
from,
attractive.
you know all there is to know about me. At least, all that
Wait, if only
matters.
one of us does it, do we get the all get the achievement, or did we all have to do it?
Should you wish
I think we
I
all
don't
have
know.
to.
Yeah, we all have to do it.
Because it's all
You have
our
to do it,
own avatar.
We
Yep.
spoke of my relationship with Duke Berlin Stillman.
Oh God, Wolf's
The
gonna do
story
it.
I have told.
No, I'm gonna call him out on his bullshit.
I have no more secrets from you. No need to resort to such
I just told him that I don't feel the same
We are
way.
true
Fuck off.
allies now, working towards a common goal.
I'm telling him you do a great impression of a human, but you're not fooling me.
Your distrust of me will be your undoing.
I said the same thing.
Would it make a difference if I let you read my thoughts?
You're an expert at mental manipulation. I wouldn't trust anything you show me.
I could have done with a little more coddling.
I will take that as a
Oh, he's gonna
yes.
show me.
Oh, okay. I didn't ask for this. I literally did the same option.
You're trying to flirt with me now.
Look what he's doing. Look,
Would
Christy.
you like that? Very much.
He took control of her. They didn't fall in love.
Wolf is gay.
You don't have a gender. I don't think that makes it gay.
Nope.
Look, she's a fucking zombie.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Ew.
Uh-oh.
Did you
It's
like
happening.
it?
Guys, it's happening.
This
Bro
is
couldn't get a normal person. He had to get a fucking squid.
Aren't you glad?
Aren't
You
you
have
glad
no
I
idea what you're even
finessed
talking
my
about.
methods? Ew.
But since you insist on thwarting,
Into my eyes, Squid Man.
let us make
Whoa.
You are my puppet. Make no mistake. Without
I'm not your puppet.
Oh.
You're my puppet, bitch.
you will take me to the brain because you have no other
Take its
choice.
tentacle in your
Once we
hand,
are
invite
there,
it in.
You will do exactly what I
Ew,
tell
is Wolf actually fucking the illithid
and
right
you
now?
do well to reconsider unlocking your potential. Your puerile attachment to your material form jeopardizes us all.
Just yanked on his
If
tentacle.
You will not force me.
I will force you.
Finally, the mask drops, and you put so much effort into it. You're the one who entered my brain, okay? We are done here to you. Okay, I'm gonna go watch Wolf fuck this illithid.
We are done.
I stopped watching because it got weird.
A memory stirs. Diagrams in a book he read long ago. A
You
mind
don't see the
flares
teeth?
Oh
mercy
God.
underneath the
Oh,
tentacles.
Maybe I shouldn't
hope
have
that
put this up on my stream.
Oh my god. Are you... Oh!
In the mind player form
Oh.
is crazy.
I cannot believe my eyes right now.
Why? It's Wolf. He kept saying he would do this.
Ew!
Ew, he's like
Ew.
sucking on that tentacle.
was that
Wolf
a
is gay.
good sound?
Do it again. Do it again. Oh.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Oh God.
Wolf is a
Yeah, he's
freaky
Came at
acting.
motherfucker.
exactly the right time.
He's
yes, he did.
acting right now.
Pollination.
This
Hi,
mind player
Paul.
doesn't give a fuck.
Oh God.
Do it again. Do it again. Listen.
What the
Listen.
fuck am I looking at?
I'm so uncomfortable.
Brody's diddling the fucking.
He's doing
Son of
that
a
tentacle. Oh
I
God.
can't believe it.
Oh.
Not that I've ever done this before, but I don't remember any of this. Wait,
What the
I've
fuck?
never romanced the Emperor? What? I just
What?
got the achievement.
Wow.
Guess I might have done it. I might have done it before I had it on Steam.
Ew!
False.
I feel so
He's a
weird.
fraud.
Ew!
What the
What do you
fuck?
mean?
What if he like stuck that in your ear? It looked like he was gonna.
He's probably sticking it somewhere.
What are we about to do right now?
What the fuck?
Ew!
Into my eyes.
I can't stop looking at the teeth.
Don't
My
look at
mouth
the teeth.
always
Just ignore
open.
the teeth. It's fine.
Just ignore the teeth.
It's fine. It's fine if you don't look about. Look
Where
at
are those going?
Brody has to ignore parts of the body. to
Whoa.
be fine with it.
Whoa.
Hold on, I gotta turn on show genitals real quick.
What? What? Oh my God.
I never got. I think last time I got a prompt. I didn't get it one this time, but last time I got a prompt that was all like, "Do you prefer this form or the other form?" I didn't get that prompt this time.
No, because you
Yeah, I
started
was
kissing on him.
Ever dreamt
I guess
of
that's true.
more? The single greatest experience of
I
your
look
life.
sickly.
Yeah, you.
How is that the greatest
you look
experience?
Like you have like.
They faded to black after setting this scene like that coward.
Yeah.
Right?
Mind and body intertwined. It was hard to tell where thoughts ended and feelings began.
Look how kind of fruity you look looking at him.
Kind of fruity.
To a deeper level. You know it feels the same.
I hope I have a leaf on. I'm pretty sure I have a. I hope I have a leaf on.
Okay.
Oh my
you do.
god, it's
I was like, I hope you
wiggling
did
out.
too because I'm streaming.
It seems the tadpole allowed you
Oh,
to
Will.
share
Whoa. Hey,
more
Will.
than you would have liked with your companions.
I said I'd protect you from the absolute, not each other. And I was distracted.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he totally was.
I'll make sure they don't remember a thing.
I know, I can't take Bill seriously in those whitey tighties.
I did.
We
Oh, sorry,
only
that's
have.
time to get
Wait,
going.
I'm surprised he didn't show Karlak.
We have work
The
to do.
bow and
Yeah,
everything.
why only Will? Oh wait, here I got you.
He
You sure I
wanted
can't
to
tempt you into another?
traumatize.
But it will be quite some time before I am.
Oh god.
He chose Will only to traumatize, dude.
And time
He
has
said,
moved
"You know what?
closer.
You already have daddy issues. How about some more trauma, bro?"
Nice panties, Will. Right? Listen,
Oh, the butt.
it's Gab's fault everyone's
Holy
naked.
moly!
That's true.
Oh,
How did I
how'd
get
you get
dressed
dressed
like
so
that? What?
I was gonna say, how did you
Holy
get dressed so
moly.
fast?
Graham's hive mind has grown to monstrous proportions. And through the crown's magic, it has complete control over each and every member. It was intelligent
Bro,
before,
knowing what me and Christie's choices versus these choices, it's just like so blatantly obvious that he's a liar and acting and a phony.
Yeah, he's a phony baloney.
I don't care. I was rejected by every other potential companion, okay? I just want to point that out. This was definitely a choice. It was. But hey, you know,
I'm a
sometimes you
solo
gotta take a
pinky
tentacle for
toe.
the team.
Nobody likes me either. I'm just a solo pinky toe.
Why are you
Right.
heavily encumbered?
I don't know. Wonder why.
Don't ask.
What are you holding?
Nothing.
She's holding
Oh,
root
the
powder
oil
bomb.
barrel.
Yeah.
Oil barrel.
I love how George decided to do that instead of watch that beautiful cinematography.
Well, if I'm about to respec back into a vengeance paladin, I'm run my vengeance across your face.
Whoa. You better be careful. My boyfriend won't like that.
Do it.
Your
We'll kill your boyfriend too in your face.
Summoning us. Get him, us. Kidding.
Wait, where are you guys?
This reminds me of a song.
This reminds me.
Then Jesse.
Jesse?
What?
Yo, Wolf, after this, do a honor mode run paladin. Bard only.
Bards
Bet.
only.
I'm down.
No, don't run. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, babe, there's better camp clothes in here too. Why are you still wearing that
Oh,
peasant
Christy's
shit
still
at
just
camp?
walking around.
Me and Christy grew up in very different childhoods. I do not care what I wear.
I wear pajama pants to the store.
Pajama mama.
Like I don't care
I
either.
wore sweatpants to Pluckers today.
Think a party of all clerics call yourselves the Amen.
Amen.
Mhm.
Amen.
Love it.
Parentheses women.
Love
I
it.
am a cleric already.
Listen, you can't
Ready?
spell women without men, so
True.
we're all a little gay. What? Anyway,
Wait, why the fuck is this kid back when I told her to buzz off?
no. Oh
I'm
yeah,
about
we
to
were gonna
tell
kill
her.
this guy.
Babe, what the fuck?
What do all clerics 100% viable in 5e?
I said no
don't
kids
know
Your
allowed,
name.
dude.
I don't know
What?
the difference between. That's insane. I don't know the difference between like 5e mechanics and the BG Baldur's Gate 3 mechanics because I'm pretty sure they changed some things to make it more video game friendly. I think.
Want to say hi to Kithrak over here?
Aren't we killing all these
Whoa,
people
where is he at?
first?
Are we gonna kill this
Oh.
guy? I want his staff.
Oh, why don't we
wanna
do
kill this guy.
whatever you guys want to do? I'll try my best.
I want to kill this guy. I'm about to make him wet so I can blast him.
Um,
They're overall quite similar. Gotcha. No worries.
You're getting lag. Is my stream lagging?
Okay, I'm gonna go kill this guy.
Okay.
George is playing RuneScape right now, not paying any attention.
I literally asked if y'all wanted to talk to Kithrak Voss over here, but yeah, okay.
And I said I wanted to kill this guy.
Okay, you want to ignore a really important quest point? Okay.
Well, listen, we can go kill this guy. Oh,
Well-
okay.
Yep.
he told us
Well-
not to come back.
I came back.
How? Bro did not pay attention at all to the dialogue earlier.
Mega
I
lag?
literally listen. I said I was gonna
It's
fight
just
him.
like
I said I was gonna fight
I
him.
literally.
I said I wanted to kill him.
Yeah, and he said don't come back because it's the
Also,
resting
I
place
didn't
of his
think we
He
ever.
boyfriend.
said-
I guess we did.
He
Kind. I
said
guess
pay
we
your
did kind of
respects
leave.
and then don't come back.
Yeah, we left. We went to go to bed and come back.
Hey babe, can you check
I
my
guess that's
stream?
true.
Yeah.
What's the best thing I can
What
do
about it?
here? I suppose I could do a little bit of this.
Is it lagging?
Make everyone wet here.
A little bit.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's lagging.
Hmm.
What does OBS say?
I didn't. Oh yes, looks fine. That's why I'm like, what the heck? Is it my game settings? Let me see.
Okay, and then I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do
I'm a beat.
see. I'm a bait.
Wolf, I don't usually say this, but if you cast Fireball, be very useful.
Oh, it's too
here.
late. I can't. I mean, there's nothing else I can do here.
Oh, okay. Oh.
I'm just
Also,
going
just
to
remember,
try.
he's fire resistant.
I think that's what happened. There we go. Okay, does it look better now?
Hello?
My freaking game settings got changed to ultra again.
I'm moving speed. I can move here though.
Does it look good now? Is it better?
Oh, and then you know, we can't end it off without, you know. This reminds me of a song.
Yeah, it looks better.
Okay. It must be my
You
game
have to check-
settings.
But you got to check OBS, so it'll tell you if there's any encoding overload or anything like that.
No, yeah, I don't see anything.
Okay.
That's why I was like, what the heck? Yeah, my game
Yeah, it looks
settings.
fine now.
Yeah, my game settings got changed back to ultra for some reason. It might have been when I updated NVIDIA.
I hate when that shit happens, you know? Does it right under your nose.
Hello. If I cancel this, can I? Oh no, because that's a bonus action.
How far can I? Oh, bet.
Gonna get blown up.
Yep.
That's okay though.
Yeah. Stupid computers.
Okay.
I need you to hit.
You did hit. Oh,
I'm gonna need you to hit.
This reminds me of a song.
Oh, you have to stop because you can actually perform it good. Nope.
Oh.
He's immune to fire.
If y'all could just get in one straight line for me, I'd really appreciate it. Ow.
Bitch.
Oh, there's so many more methods. Nice.
It's a
Interesting.
really cool sound.
Like it's definitely on my end as well, so I'm about. All right, Paul. Pollination.
You
Well, thanks for coming by.
whore bag.
Where is
Thanks,
that
Paul.
potion I have? There it is.
Thanks for boinking the Emperor and scarring me for life. You're welcome. You know, anything for the viewer.
It was
That's so
fucking
funny.
disgusting.
Yeah, I'm scarred for life. Have a good night, Paul.
All right,
I wish we
I only do it
all
every
got that
playthrough.
achievement though.
I know. I was kind of hoping we would.
I'm
Oh, you
never
have to-
earning
you-
that achievement.
That means I
You're
have
gonna
to
earn an
freaking...
achievement on the back of
Yeah.
my hard work.
Yes.
Maybe be like
Emphasis
full
on a hard.
squid. Take all the evolve
That's
and shit.
crazy.
Hey,
And
hey,
then-
no.
Squid sex.
Squid sex.
It's not even like that. It's like a mental thing, right? You stupid
I
grease
don't
balls.
know. He was probably sticking those tentacles up in you.
What?
What?
Holy moly.
Ow. I appreciate you all being lined up for me. It does make me very happy that you are all so graciously lined up. Can I do? Oh hell, 2 hit him? No, 2 will not. 3 will though. I'll do 3.
Okay.
Ow.
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 Is he
Actually,
Does he have any concentration going on?
God, I could,
No.
I could do more damage. Is he wet? Is he wet? Oh, he's so wet. I don't want to waste. This.
Well, are you gonna shock him? Okay. Nice. Okay, you're gonna.
Okay, he's immune. Oh, lightning damage against this entity is doubled.
Same with cold damage.
Okay.
Is he
so
wet?
sick.
He is wet. Oh, watch out, George. That's okay. I got you.
Interesting.
Oh wait.
GTFO.
I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't do that.
There we go.
Oh, he's numbed. What's that
Reminds me
mean?
of a song.
Let's
I'm
see.
actually getting smashed,
Oh.
and then you just have this freaking dude playing this thing in your ear.
Just right behind your fucking ear. Yeah.
Right.
That would be insane. Oh, I forgot to give y'all Long Strider. Fuck.
It's okay.
And are you on?
Oh, nice.
Get on the ground!
I'm just jamming out behind him while he falls down.
Hi, Kyle.
Oh, I'm gonna
Am I
stick my hammer
still
down your
in
throat.
flame? Am
Love
I
this
still in
game.
fire?
Over 200
Uh-uh.
hours. Well, you just missed the best part of the whole game.
Yeah,
No, you just missed the best part.
Yeah, Wolf diddled the
This
Emperor.
guy.
Oh yeah.
He's the diddler
Ow.
of emperors.
What's the point of counterspell if the spell still goes off?
I got him.
Got hooded.
He's almost dead. God, why did that crit? Okay. You little pat.
He hurled his
motherfucker, run
grease
away.
shit at you.
I'll keep summoning more. We'll take you all on. Hey, we got some guys coming in from behind.
He's almost dead, so. Oh, he's mad.
Oh,
Hey, what's up, dude?
he's electrocuted now.
Yeah, he's, all brawn, no brain. This guy.
Crazy.
They're all coming to me. What the fuck?
See, George, I can
pissing
help
me
you,
off.
but it's probably gonna hurt.
Oh God.
Nah, I got it. Watch this shit. Watch this shit. Watch this shit. I got it.
Watching.
Huh.
Can I get, do this?
Oh, that works.
Did I hit you? I tried not to.
Nah, you're good.
Oh, we got a bunch of little guys over here, too. You have one less little guy over here.
Yay, Christy!
The grease balls are dead.
Now we gotta get all these Muppets.
Whoa.
Let's kill that guy real quick. I've been electrocuted. Tell me how that makes sense. I'm literally a storm sorcerer.
Well, let's see. It's electric floor. You step on the floor and you get electrocuted.
I am a storm sorcerer. I should be immune to electricity.
It's pissing me off.
Yeah. Oh my god, my fucking list of fucking...
This mephit got fucking scared after I fucking spelled it. He's like, runs away. Pissing me off.
Oh, he's
Hit me
charmed.
again, I dare you. Oh, you can't.
Oh, they're really not going for me. They don't really care about me. They care about you guys for some reason. These fucking pats everywhere, bro.
They're behind
Can't
us.
say that.
Christy, they're behind us.
That's not very nice. Stupid. Stupid. All right. It's a grand slam, huh? Nice.
Holy
It's
moly.
blowing up.
Effed.
This reminds me of a song.
This reminds me of a song.
I can't tell what's safe to walk on in
Everything's
front
on
of
fire
us.
right now.
Yeah,
Nothing
like,
Yeah,
is
but
safe
then
to
I
walk
also
on.
see electrified steam. Like what?
Does anyone have the
Like,
make
what
water
is
spell
that?
by chance?
I do have the
Yeah.
make water spell. I can create and destroy water, but I don't have an action to do it right now.
Electrified steam water or steam fire is funny as fuck.
Who's up there?
Playing those grease balls, Diddy. Love it. Damn.
Wow, I got a
Is it
critical.
overkill?
George just
I
playing
was
songs
expecting to
over there.
miss.
Damn. He said, "Shut up."
Stupid. This fucker. Pissing
Let you
me off.
incredible.
There you go.
Amazing.
All right, let me go over here.
Wow.
I'm gonna pop
It's
this
really
for
just
us.
a quarterstaff?
Sit.
I didn't realize it was just a quarterstaff. That thing looks cool though.
Oh wait, do we have Sarum's ribcage? Fuck.
I don't know where that is.
I don't think so.
Or it's not his ribcage, it's his skull. Hey, babe, you do
Where
this.
was that?
Can't keep me out.
Where do you find that at?
I forgot.
If you should damages the wearer within 2 meters. Oh, that's within 2 meters. I see.
There you go, babe. Go take it.
Scorched book. Elixir of sea invisibility. Toxin. Cloud
Well, if, like,
giant
you need
strength.
Sarum's you need Saren's skull to get the
There you go, babe.
full staff.
I gave you the cloud giant strength potion. Elixir.
We gotta find this. We gotta find the skull.
Yep.
What if I just put a regular skull in there? I have a regular skull for some reason. What if I just do that? Is she not gonna do that? Because I feel like it's gonna be like, you did this wrong, and you're never gonna get to do
Where
it
did we
again.
find it?
Yeah, where did we find Saren's skull? I have no idea.
I don't know.
Oh, there's a grease ball over here, though. Alrighty. Well, you guys wanna go talk to Kithraki?
Ketherick Voss.
The Kithraki?
Yeah, sure. I'll follow.
His name is Ketherick Voss.
Actually, his name is not
Actually?
Kithrak. That's his rank.
So your rank is
Do it.
not.
What?
You moved as soon as I cast the guidance.
My bad.
So I cast the guidance on myself.
Heh.
What up, homie?
Let's talk to this fool.
About that.
Oh, we didn't
I
get it
could
yet,
go
but we
fight
will.
him.
You retrieve the
Ow.
Orphic hammer. Will our prince's chains finally be
Yeah, I want to
broken?
go fight Raphael. Or should we get the globe first? What level spell is that?
Then I will wait here until you
That's
have.
probably a level.
The chains that bind Orpheus also bind the whole of the Githyanki people. The remaining honor guard serve as my eyes and ears. Vlaakith's
What happened to
forces
your ear,
hunt
bro?
you and the prism. My allies have slayed more than you know, so that you might travel freely. As for those that break through, you've proven more than capable of bleeding them yourself. A devil
Okay.
of Raphael's stature
reminds
does
me of
not
a song.
simply make camp on the shores of the Styx. He will have made a sanctuary for himself,
Githrak,
a
look.
lavish one too, one that caters to his many vices. He must keep the Orphic hammer there. Every house has an entrance, Istik, even those in the hells. A diabolist in this very city might know the way.
Yeah, we just gotta go find this diabolist.
Oh, shoot, he likes my music.
Yeah, he does.
You're lucky you can't be moved by force.
Babe, for performance.
Yeah, we can all pour performance. Never mind, it stopped me for some reason. Good for me!
Oh, he
We're
threw
going.
gold. He threw gold.
I get it.
Okay, quick, move, pull the lever. Damn it.
Wrong lever.
I don't know where we're going, by the way.
Damn it, I can't
Me
push
either.
you on here.
Who's that lady?
Lorna?
Lorna. Sure? Like the singer? Like the band?
Let's go beat her up. No, I'm just playing. Who are you? Oh, bye, Wolf.
Ah, a friendly face at last.
That's what you
Come
think.
back,
You
don't
come
worry.
to the party as well.
Don't react. Don't react. Let's see if this lands. Don't react.
Yeah, two.
Oh, wow.
Two.
It's
I
crazy.
don't know if I should say. It's very exclusive. Oh, go on then, I'll tell you. It's an underground party at a place called the Palace. My date's supposed to meet me
Hey, guys.
here, but there's no sign
You
of him.
dude, that hurts.
You haven't
This
seen him,
doesn't
has he?
look
Wolf
like
in
a
the
good
background.
spot to me.
Target shoot.
Piercing
Target
eyes.
practice.
It's funny.
Well, target
He was
practice,
ever so keen
mate.
for me to come. He didn't seem tight to cancel.
I'm wounded now.
Is that Astarion? Did we kill Astarion? Or did we tell him to go away?
No, we killed him in the very beginning. We
Oh,
met
okay.
him.
I thought that's
Then
who.
Wolf
I
stole
thought
his
that's who
clothes.
she was talking about.
Normal. Mostly.
Yeah, Wolf stole his clothes for some
Have
reason.
much of an appetite at dinner.
Like this
though
clothes.
He said he was saving himself for tonight.
You still have it? Wolf
He
or
was
no?
so enthusiastic.
So,
I don't
I
understand why
think
he hasn't
so.
shown up.
Because he's a vampire.
He's a vampire.
Now you mention
Sure,
it,
yeah.
he brought his own wine with him to the Mermaid last night. Strange smell it had, kind of metallic. You know
Come
what?
on.
I might give this party a miss. Plenty more fish in the Chionthar, as they say. If you see him,
What the fuck is
Plenty
that?
more fish.
there are.
I
There are plenty more
Cheon
fish in the
Dar.
Chionthar.
wasn't ready to be in a relationship.
It's like
There
the
are more
river or
fish.
whatever.
Understand.
There are more
Yeah, get the
fish.
fuck out of
Say.
here, lady.
Or fish in the Chionthar.
In the Chiantar.
There are more
There's
fish.
lots of missing posters down here.
Gonna build me a fort.
Not bad. I've had better days.
Why is there so many mirrors?
Hmm.
You.
So you can see if there's a vampire here, because this seems to be where they send the vampire victims to pick them up.
Yeah.
And this looks
We-
like the entrance of Cazador, maybe?
Yep. We need it. We needed a Astarion.
Who cares? He's dead. Good riddance.
Yeah, he's fine.
I mean, we can just go to Cazador's front entrance. So you know.
Doesn't it look like there's gold in the bottom of that still?
Fickle.
Do
Eh,
you see it
Tartar
in there?
sauce.
yeah.
That's weird.
Well,
Fish paste.
Now what?
peace.
Oh, okay.
That's messed up. Let me. I can't.
Oh, we can't go in? This looks like the fucking secret way to Slytherin right here.
Slither.
I move either. Oh, I can move this. I just can't move very
Hey.
far. Alright, I'll bring this over here. I can use this one too. This one like this.
Okay. What's the
Very
plan?
far.
Where do
Okay,
we
hold on.
go?
Well, George has taken the thing, so we can't leave.
Yes, we can.
The thing, so we can't.
We can't leave. It's impossible for us to leave.
No, there's a
There's
fast
nothing that
travel
calls
over
it
here, right?
back.
Our ride's here.
Climb up this ladder.
Okay. I haven't finished my fort.
Alright, leaving.
Wait. We're in the lower city.
Oh, we can't go that way anymore.
Ooh, we should do that next. We should do the
What?
pier.
Do what?
The sea people.
Okay, bye.
Wait for me. Wow. I just
See
wanted to build
ya.
a fort. George, where'd you go?
Climb up the ladder.
What ladder?
Yeah, what ladder?
I'm still back over here. I was building my fort. I gotta
My bad.
Oh,
go
look,
over here again.
wait, Christy, come back. Come back.
Click on this. Let's build the fort.
Ah!
Oh, wrong way. Okay, we'll go.
No,
get more.
he called it.
Oh.
Because I pressed this to go this way. Hey, I'll be right back, actually.
Okay.
That.
You don't see
I
the
am
ladder?
actually also
I'll
gonna be
come.
right back. I'm gonna go fill up my water.
Okay.
I'll go back down. I'm right
I'll
here.
get us over there.
Yeah, this is literally, it says ladder, like right here.
We're coming.
Okay, I'm going back up. I want to hang out with these vagrants. That was a goodie game. Hello, fellow vagrants. Where does one acquire the green herb? I...
I'm back. Also, George, you can't say that. And secondly, I'll show you a green herb.
He's not here.
Wow. Wild. That guy sucks. You got me some chocolate.
Some chocolate.
I say we sign a petition, ban chocolate for Halloween because I'm so tired.
So tired.
Chocolate
Where'd you guys go?
Up the ladder.
up a manhole.
Up the ladder.
Back
Okay,
down.
I see it. Oh, hey.
Yeah. Did you want to take the floaty thing to the other side though?
It's okay.
Awesome Kit Kat. I love my Kit
I
Kat.
thought George knew where to get this skull at that we need for that
What?
What?
for that thing. Wish me luck, old man. Let's read it.
What
I
the
read
fuck?
his mail.
That's wild. I want to make myself a
You
drink.
can't do that.
Who named this child Cinnamon?
Cinnamon.
Someone named Toast and
Blow
Crunch.
butt.
Slowbud and
Hey,
Pumpkins.
Wolf, that's you. Oh, anti-hag support group poster? Let me join
Well,
that.
listen here. I can solve this problem right now. They'll never have to worry about their names again.
Brody, wait, there's a midget coming your way. Hold on.
Put them in your pocket. Put them in your pocket.
This man's
Imagine being a
pissing
grown
me
man
off.
and being shorter than those kids. What just happened?
Uh-oh, Gab's in trouble.
Uh-oh.
What?
What happened?
Yeah, remember a little tidbit about Mazora.
She's a little bitch.
She controls a lot of people, so if you piss her off...
Me everything. How you and the blade of frontiers
Oh,
slaughtered his
hey,
own father.
whoa,
How he
hey,
craves ultimate
whoa,
power.
hey.
Yeah, pissing off Mazora makes this a little harder in Baldur's Gate.
Didn't even piss her off though, did we?
No.
You broke the pact. What do you mean?
How does that piss her off though? Because she still gets like, oh,
Yay.
Well, she doesn't have like full control over Will, which is what she kind of wanted. So
Stand down.
she's literally sticking around
I
because
believe
like
you.
she just wants to see
The
Will die or
Battle Lord
whatever.
help me. What darkness has fallen upon us?
Why does he look like you, Wolf?
Listen, there's something Will should know.
This thing.
On his
Look
way
at her
from Elturel,
nose
Ravengard sent a
cleavage.
messenger with word of the
What?
cult.
Her no
He
that's a
knew
phrase.
about the absolute. I thought
That's a
little of it
statement.
at
I
first.
see what you mean though.
see
I
it?
see what you
Realized
mean.
danger
The
before
nose
anyone
cleavage, I
else
get it.
did. He understood that if the
What's
cult
that?
was
How
successful
come no one
in
talks
raising an
slow
army,
butt over here? Let me talk to him. It's good
Baldur's
game.
Gate would be doomed. And he knew that to protect the city,
Oh, nothing.
one
You're
trained
fucking
in the
useless,
ways
kid.
of the
Alright, this
great
lady's
champions
talking a
would
lot.
have to rouse the worm living beneath. If I'm not mistaken, that
reminds me
would
of a
be
song.
Will.
Ooh.
Wait, I probably should cast this on you guys.
Wait.
A bronze dragon, to be precise, sleeping beneath us.
You go,
The
babe.
worm goes by many names.
I've never done that.
Ansel,
I've
the
never
waiting
done.
storm,
Did you give me something?
The
Guy.
heart of the gate.
Bardic
He
inspiration.
made Balduran a binding
Oh,
promise
thanks,
to
babe.
protect the
Here you
city.
go, here you go, Gab.
Take this. The
Blah, blah,
messenger
blah.
Ansel. The bards call it a tall tale, but every last word is true. I was right to. I should go free the
Alright,
world.
get out of here, lady. Fuck Christ.
I
I
gotta go
was
free
just
some
trying
dude's
to
worm.
look at this.
Where did y'all go?
On the mini map, it literally tells you. Yeah, goof.
Literally tells you. Oh.
Slow
You
butt.
need to be nice to me.
You need one reason why I should be nice to you. Bye, babe.
Hi.
I said bye.
Oh.
Ah. This is a easy game.
Oh, thanks.
I'm gonna go.
Wow.
I'm gonna go punch this steel guard in the butt. See what happens.
Oh, die.
Tempers are rising.
Okay.
It's clear not everything
Ba-
you
Thanks, babe.
find is at your disposal.
Oh, what the heck? What
Why
happened
are
to
you stealing stuff?
Yeah, babe. Why are you
It's
stealing
red.
stuff?
That means you can't. This girl's never played an RPG in her life.
No, she tried to, because I dug it up, right? And she tried to steal like chests from me, and it was red. And she got...
Yeah, and then he pushed me into the line of sight.
Yeah, stop stealing.
Yeah, stop stealing, Christy. Gosh.
Yeah, it's not. Oh, what's good, girl? Holy shit, you thick. Oh shit, nice shirt.
Blushing mermaid. Oh, this is where.
Yep.
Oh, this is where the bard would be singing right now. Oh. I think this is where. Or did she go somewhere else?
Yeah, this is where the.
Oh wait. Is this where? What's her? Oh, I think this is where what's her name is.
Yes, I know. If it's the same person I'm thinking of, yes, this is where she is.
We should go talk to Captain Grizzly.
I'm gonna talk to Bosom first.
You would.
Hungover, too bright.
Well, I kind of want to sell shit, so fuck you, Wolf.
I think it was Grizzly.
Oh, there's drinks aplenty at the bar. Anything else? Well,
Hey, why don't you give me these fancy clothes? I'm selling that shit.
even for one.
Because
as
you needed better
fine
camp
looking as
clothes.
yourself.
I don't need anything. Get away from me.
You're standing in it,
You
smart
need some better
ass.
cam clothes.
Or our innards, at least.
Get a load of this guy.
She may not sit on water no more.
Get a little of this guy.
She'll always be my ship.
No, you suck. You can do something, I think, with Captain Grizzly, but I think it's Captain Grizzly.
I just talked to her. There wasn't really much that I
We gotta
saw.
go down in the cellar. Actually, let's not go down in the cellar yet.
Can we go deal with the fish people first, or the sea people?
What?
At the pier.
Sure, I'm down. Just pinging.
Gotta go way down there though, in the south.
There's a girl on the ground.
Where is Gab? Is off doing her own thing. Gab is off on her own quest. Gab, what you doing?
Upcoming. I don't know. I was just looking around the house and taking
Oh, no,
stuff.
you're good. I didn't know if there was
Thank
anything
you
that you
for
were
my
doing.
tea.
Okay, where
No,
do we gotta
I
go?
wasn't stealing. It was all white stuff.
So we have to go
red
down here.
stuff.
It's all white stuff.
Yeah, that down there, Wolf. You see across the pier? That's where we need to go. See that
Oh,
temple
wait.
over there, but down yonder?
Okay. I'll see you guys there.
Wonder if you fall. Will you fall? Aw. Bro got scared.
Perception failed.
Perception failed.
I'm just gonna Assassin's Creed my way over there.
I'm gonna take the long way.
That's what I'm doing.
Oh shit. There's
I'm just
vagrant
a light
midgets right
cleric.
there.
Oh yeah, sure. I'll clear off. My fault. Hey, Guido.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be over there, Wolf.
I'm looking to buy some
Lawbreaker.
fish. I'm looking to buy some
Oh,
fish
we
because there's
failed the
always more.
perception.
My buddy needs some more fish,
Steel
some better
Watcher?
fish.
What's up,
This
Steel
place
Watcher?
looks
Mind
really
my business.
sketchy down here.
Oh, Wolf, there's a fast travel down there. If you find it, pop it so we can just teleport over here.
Oh, Lee, I'm actually with the guild. I'm here to pick up that shipment. My deception is +4, +4, +4, +4.
Nice.
You'll be swimming
Wait, hold
in
on.
critters unless you skedaddle.
Oh, I was gonna come give you
Okay.
guidance.
Due to pick up this
Okay, I
shipment
haven't done it
any
yet,
moment.
so technically I think I can still get guidance.
Oh, there it is. I found it.
I mean, my +4s, unless I get a 1, I cannot fail
shit.
this.
No,
'Cause
no.
I have to roll a 15, and all of my +4s are 16.
I forgot. There's actually something here we gotta stop.
It won't pull up your
You got it.
your
Critical
roll,
success.
so I can't.
Why didn't you
Oh,
leave
okay,
with
good.
that? I trust you're gonna balance the books too, yeah?
Guy looks like halfling Sean
Vince, you got
Bean.
everything we ordered?
Oh yeah.
Halfling John
Weapons,
Bean.
drugs, bit of fire
Or Sean
wine.
Bean. My bad.
You know, pleasure as always.
Rajon.
What'd you get?
You just gave him money?
Yeah,
get
we can
something
get
good?
unlimited money. I don't know. There's just a bunch of materials or something, I think. I don't know. And I'm off.
Low blank.
What do we get? Doesn't even tell me what we got. I have nothing else in my inventory.
Babe, I prefer you do this conversation over here.
Okay, I'm coming.
Did I legit not get anything? What? I'm confused.
Where you at?
I don't have anything in my inventory.
Where am I going?
I don't know.
You guys go. Where'd you guys go?
George
see you
said to
guys.
do something, but so we come over by Georgia and now he's saying nothing.
Ah, like right here. Hey, walk up over there.
As I'm coming.
Talk to this dude.
Dart,
Talk to Churd or Dart Ditward. I'm sorry.
Dart, dirt. Word.
Maybe he's on top of the thing.
It's not a lie. If
Hey.
you would just listen, I could explain.
It's Volo.
You have done quite enough.
Draw
I'm gonna hide by the
Are we gonna save Volo, or are we gonna let him perish in fire? and
Yeah,
flame?
save Volo.
These good,
Yeah, we're gonna save him.
gentle citizens.
We're really not as evil as I thought we were gonna be.
Not for Volo. Volo's actually
Yeah, but we
an
use
incredibly
we
important
use
character
these people
canonically.
for because we can pickpocket Volo too when he's in our camp, and he'll just run
Yeah,
away.
and he gave me an eye.
Beyond the veil.
He gave me an eye.
Taking an eye.
Really are.
For just a little detail there, it took your eye first.
That's different though. This eye's better.
Attention seeker.
That dwarf looks like Wolf.
I was gonna say that dwarf looks like a racist.
You know what, buddy pal? Y'all are pissing me off.
Oh, you're pissing off the racist Gab.
No.
Today, citizens, we rid ourselves of this
That looks so good.
sore. Today, we burn away all
Me and Gab
Yeah,
making
well.
fun of a dwarf, and Christy over here. I look good.
divided no longer.
She covered in blood.
Add def ominem.
Yeah, the blood adds to it.
Def Omnum.
Don't just stand there. Help me, goddammit! Help me!
Why is he always
Canonically,
in
if
some
he
trouble?
dies, it's like really, really fucking bad.
Yeah, he's like a wizard too, isn't he?
He's not a wizard, but he is tied to Mistra.
I thought so.
What should I say
Who
here?
cares?
Basically, if he dies, then the entire part of the weave will actually directly become undone.
And
Something
who
along
cares?
those lines.
We don't have Gale, so what does it matter?
It
I mean-
affects everybody, buddy. Volo has done no
affects
harm. You on the other
everybody,
answer of the absolute. I'm ready to fight these guys. I'm just saying. Do we want to fight these guys?
I don't care. Sure.
Should I
Let's
say
do it.
one then?
I'm down for one.
What's this? Another heretic in our midst?
This guy does his makeup better than mine.
Clouded by the disruptor's lies.
He's got some good
Another
blending.
Soul to cleanse. Well, we are nothing if not.
Wolf, I would back up a little farther.
Let us see if we cannot lift the veil from their
Tell me what to do.
eyes too.
All right, then go back out there. Back out there. No.
No.
Get back out
All
there.
right,
don't wanna
come
go
on.
back.
What are
Back
you
out
gonna
there.
do, you little
Pushing
dramatic
me.
creature?
Get back out there.
Stop pushing me. I'm sorry.
Uh
Please,
He's pissing me off.
oh.
Back over there.
Okay. Oh, you giblet. Not in combat.
How do we save him?
You're fine. We have to just get over here and throw water on it. You're fine.
I can do that.
I
Alright,
could
go
get
ahead.
over there.
Why am I in combat whenever
But why am I
was
in battle
sneaky?
now?
Because you walked in. I don't know.
Stupid. No, the stupid steel watcher made me freaking stand
Antinia
up.
the goon?
I'm gonna run this
The
way.
goon, dude? We got the goon
goon.
on the other fucking side, dude.
She's a
Look
goon.
at her.
Goo.
We got Bully McGuire. I'm sorry, never mind. That's Bully Galaverin.
Oh, I just fucking wasted my movement
Lobster,
because I
Dark
accidentally
Darkwood.
clicked off instead of X.
I can get over there and get water on that, so.
Okay, good.
Get the goon.
I'm gonna
The
get the goon.
gooner.
Oh, she at 96, dude. I gotta give her the old dick twist or something.
Whoa. Yo, dick twist.
I don't know.
I like
let's
these
try
people just
this.
walk by and act like nothing's going on.
Wow, good job, Gab.
You did great.
Better watch out, citizen.
I like how they're just like walking
Okay.
by.
Say, I'm
I know,
low-key-
right? What the
low-key
hell's going
glad
on?
that when we're in combat and it doesn't hurt you.
Ignorant. Oh, look, now she in love.
Bully.
She in love
Gab.
Wow,
with
she
a
should be.
Wow, fuck your girl, Wolf.
sorcerer.
Come on, man. I can't have nothing this playthrough.
Your bully is really pissing me off.
Shout out to Knobster.
Lobster. I'm gonna get so much stuff wet. By so much stuff, I mean literally none of the enemies. They actually
You
can
pushed a
make
midget
them all.
off of a skyscraper practically to him. Nice. But the thing is, Wolf, you missed the fire back here.
That's just stupid. God dang it, Volo, you freaking idiot. I gotta do everything, man. I mean, the barrels are wet.
The barrels and the cart are
Also-
still wet. So is Volo. Hey,
Should be fine, actually.
he's wet.
Promotes attack of opportunity. I'm gonna do it anyway.
Oh, you should have repulsed these hoes.
I guess I could have repulsed them, huh?
They could have fell in the chasm. Well, damn.
Nice.
Want to do that? Oh,
Ruffian.
Bro, you got really lucky.
Oh,
he'll
shit.
be alright. He'll be alright.
I'm not worried about him. I'm worried about the Bower barrel bombs next to him.
Listen, he'll be alright. That's fucking rude.
Shit. That's crazy. 14 damage. Wow.
That's a weak
Yeah, we're
my
gonna invite this
time.
Steel Watcher to fight.
That's not.
Where's he going?
You.
Damn.
They do not like you.
Oh, he got back up on his little platform.
Yeah, now he said, I height for us.
Crazy.
Ha! Uh-oh. Here she comes. Yep. Get away.
It's got 2 axes. That's actually sick.
Get the fuck down, bitch.
Oh, nice. Nice.
I'm gonna go save what's his nuts after. Hey, hey. You suck.
Oh my god.
Oh
shit.
Can you not
Okay.
ever do that again? God's help me.
Hey, midget.
Push him.
No, I'll just kill him.
That's crazy. Hey, imprudence. It's really prudent that you leave. Okay. Really need you to skedaddle because I need to fly over there. I need to do a thing. Damn. Damn.
Reverberation. Reverberation. Get fucked, you stupid little bitch.
Yeah, damn it.
Nice. Throw the shot. Don't you do okay.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay.
Okay, buddy pal. Here's the thing. I need you
Berg.
to piss off.
What the fuck?
Damn, Churg said her Churg.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what I thought.
Then he said night night.
Night
shit,
night.
He sacrificed himself.
Can I like untie
in
him
the
if I'm over there?
electric rain. Yeah, you
just
can
get rid
aid
of that
him.
less. You can aid him. Yeah, do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think,
If I
right?
can fucking get over
If
there.
not,
If
just
you
try
hit-
to get rid of that fire there.
If you hit examine on Volo right now, he's aura farming.
He's aura
Nuh-uh.
farming.
Because the way he's
Oh,
sitting.
he totally is.
That's all she did.
That doesn't look like that doesn't look like the guy who needs help.
Nah.
Coming to save you, Bolo. Although I don't know how to save you.
Bolo.
Oh, I don't have aid.
Bolo. He doesn't have help or
Look, Bolo,
AIDS.
listen, if that thing blows up, we're both going out, okay? So I'll die with you.
What the fuck? The goon's coming to get me again.
Oh no. You're gonna get gooned.
The gooner.
Never mind.
Oh, she's back on the ground. This is pretty cool strat. I really enjoy this build.
This is wild. Every time they hit you, just fall on the ground. It's kind of busted. I think you're cheating.
It's reverberation, dude.
Okay.
You get certain stacks of reverberation, and there's always a chance they get knocked prone.
Bye-bye.
Rude.
Damn.
What did that ruffian ever do to you?
He's oh!
I'm okay.
Holy!
Why did you do that?
Don't do it.
They're going for Wolf. Imagine if it knocks Wolf right in
can't
front of
aim.
Bolo. There you
There you go.
Hey,
Oh,
buddy.
and
now
then
let's
he
not
sits
run in the
there
fire,
and-
okay?
That's the soldier boy.
Run knock this guy on the ground. Ugh.
Oh!
Nice.
Mess.
Get on the ground. Look at half squid man.
Hey, I'm not an illithid.
Where? What? I swear to God, I thought he was gonna go through the fucking fire.
I
I'm
did
so
too.
sorry.
I thought he was running straight to that fire.
Aw, look what you did, you stupid bitch.
Dude. Stop it. Wow.
Oh,
I'm about to
And that
he wasn't
ruffian is really
charmed by
ruffling the
your
feathers.
half squid look.
I need healing.
Do you?
Got you, Wolf. Okay.
Do you need healing?
Nah, he's fine.
I think I'll be okay.
He's dead.
I think so too.
I got him.
Oh, now it's this bitch left, huh?
Yeah.
Is she gonna kill me
Yeah.
next turn?
No, she ain't.
Yeah, mess her up.
You ready to get on the ground, miss?
Whoa.
Whoa.
Wow, you saved it. Even though I had 70% chance. I literally had 50% chance on the other girl the whole fucking time I was getting them. Oh, yeah. Get fucking reverberated. She's looking for you.
Yeah, she is.
Oh, she saw you. But
That's
you're still
good.
invisible.
Nice.
Oh, well, there you go.
Send me off.
Bolo, you're walking away. Oh, he's down here.
Yeah, the fast travel is right there. There we go.
That's rude.
Steel Watch Foundry. Entry prohibited.
This reminds me of a song.
Quartash.
Oh,
Sadly.
oh, you failed performance.
Oh man, there's a lot of people here. It would certainly be a shame if
Oh God.
lightning came down.
Okay, you stop it right
Or
there,
a
boy.
fireball.
Aw. This reminds me of a song.
This reminds me of a song.
I'm not taking all of these smoke powder bombs or anything.
He's gonna get heavily encumbered just to carry those things. All right. Hey, Wolf, let's help out
Send them right to
the
camp.
fish people.
You gotta show me the way. I don't know what you mean.
Oh yeah,
people.
them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like the other fish people, not the
Whoa.
Oh,
freaking.
damn it.
This lady looks hot.
Yeah, they're all hot. Anyway, babe, you
wanna-
should talk to him. I want to know if there's any
Wait.
dirge
Whoa.
interactions.
Afraid.
Don't let me keep you from the
What, Wolf?
celebrations.
Volo's
what are you doing?
Volo's thing is broken
Yeah, I
Who
know
cares?
that
Get over
there's a
here.
way to get that outfit.
because his Volo thing is talking about the Slayer, and then one of my options is I already know plenty about the Slayer. I can become it, but I can't.
Sit. Anyway, stop talking to that your little gay butt buddy and go over here with all the girls.
Hey, Renikis.
Rejoice, sisters, for Umberly has blessed her humble daughter with a pure death. Her lips blue with her kiss, her lungs full of her quenching word.
Whoa.
I got a book.
Umberly's mercy saved her from a slow,
Guys, I have a
sinking
book.
death in the beast's shadow. How dare this beast sully the safety of Grey Harbor? We will find its master and send him struggling into the bitch queen's embrace.
Whoa.
Not a sweet
The
slip
bitch
like
queen.
Holly's, but a
There
suffocating
they
flood
Hey,
of
Will wants somebody to
fruitless
talk to.
guards and
Who
bursting
gives a
flesh.
Brody? You have like all these hot women here.
You.
I'm telling
over here
Christy.
like,
Christy,
"Ooh,
I'm
where's
letting
Will?"
Christy
Tribute
know
you
that
bring
Will
to
wants
honor
somebody to
the
talk
brave
to.
mother's fallen daughter.
You could literally say that you brought your weapon to avenge her death and you can't even get rid of your weapon.
Should I say
Right, I'm leaving.
3 then? Or should I just give her money?
Whatever you want to do.
I'll just
A fine offering.
Oh, her robes are
Always
sick.
appreciated in the
Yeah,
eyes
there's
of
a way to
brave
get the
mother.
robes.
Your
I think
trying
you
to
have
get
to get over here for the past 5 minutes.
Breathe
I
deep
think you have
as
to
she
save.
permits.
Yeah, well, I don't listen to you because you bully me. I think you have to save everybody in this underwater thing to get the robes or
Typical.
something like that. But you have to save. You have to save somebody.
Holly,
Somebody.
one of Umberly's
Well, you
beloved
gotta save the
races.
person who killed
Blessed
their
Umberly,
thing. That way they
so
can take care
fit
of
to
it.
spare
Take care
her
of
an
them.
ignoble death. But her path
You want to help the cult of these women?
It was
Yes.
a beast who took her life.
Fishy
Alright.
women.
An unnatural one whose
I wanna wear her
very
robes.
existence is an affront to Umberly.
This cult's like the perfect example of like dictatorship type
Hewn
cult.
by hubris. A rusting pollutant that bleeds black blood into Umberly's pristine waters.
Pristine.
Pristine.
Y'all hear the singing in the background?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's fucking annoying.
it's the same singing,
The
but
Queen of
similar
the
singing
Depths
to like the
is
sirens or
generous to
whatever,
those
the
who
harpies.
serve her, and her favor is far less deadly than her wrath. Find the master of this poisonous beast and slay him. Then one of her
course.
most precious gifts shall be yours.
I don't know why these people can't ever fucking take care of their own problems.
Because they need strong adventurers like us.
Struck Holly while she was
Yeah,
swimming
but
in
she's
Grey
sitting
Harbor.
here
She was
threatening
found by
us.
some fishermen.
Like she's
Listen.
not already strong.
We haven't found its
Listen, if
lair as
they
yet.
could solve their own
Perhaps you
problems,
can
we
find
wouldn't
where
have
the
a video
beast
game.
takes its slumber
Listen.
and
Listen.
skewer it before it
Bruh.
wakes.
If you weren't such a simp, we would have
Linda,
actually done
Linda,
progress
listen.
in this game.
Linda, listen.
Me?
Linda,
Salt
listen.
kiss your
No, not
brother.
you,
You're
Gab. I'm
right.
talking about
We
Wolf.
await your return.
No,
What
but
did
it's
I
true.
do?
And the
I am a simp.
master's demise.
For this game.
Banging fucking. Gonna sit there for 20 minutes while he fucking caresses and makes out with the squid dude.
Inspired.
Nobody had to watch that.
Yeah, but we couldn't
Oh,
progress
wow.
without you going through it.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
check her fucking carcass. Oh, she has a pearl.
Oh, okay.
It says I
You
can
didn't
take
trigger
it.
anything. Bet. All right.
Yeah. Nobody cares that I took the pearl in her pocket. Uh-oh.
Survival. Bet.
Down by the river.
Is it over here? Oh, it's right there.
There you go. Oh, look. They're literally laying some dead woman down to rest, and right out back, the boys cracking open a cold one and fishing.
Damn straight.
Oh, wow.
Typical. Blast them into the water where they
Oh,
belong.
wait. That's a woman.
Big liar Bronson. Oh, shit.
I'll solve this problem right now.
Oh,
Stop.
God.
There's a girl right next to you.
These offerings need to be
Hey,
stored
there's a
before the next tide, or
passageway.
there'll be a laundry to pay.
Ooh, what's in the passageway?
What's in there?
Well,
This is where we go, right?
I don't know.
I
I
don't
don't think
know.
so. Yellow
I'm
it.
just running around having a good time.
I'm just following you guys, so.
We're all
What?
just
You-
following each
you
other. We're all just
know.
walking in a circle.
Oh, I didn't mean to go out.
Whoa!
I accidentally clicked.
Yeah.
I was
Whoa!
trying to
Look
go
at their
forward.
outfits.
Yo, I've
Everybody's
never been down
hot.
here.
Okay. How the fuck do we get over there? Oh.
God,
Wow, you should
everybody's
go talk to these
fucking
people.
thighs and hip crevices are out and shit, dude.
Hip crevices.
You already know what I'm talking about.
You look lost.
Especially
Stairs
this one up
behind
here.
you will take you back up
Yeah.
to the temple.
She's got her hippie dips out.
You look lost.
Did they care that we're in here?
I don't know. She told me to go.
You shouldn't be down
Oh
here.
wow, they got a lot of gold
This
in
place
here.
is off limits to lay people.
Oh,
I thought
Lay
we were
people? Who are you calling lay people? I'll show you a lay person.
The quest for those girls or those ladies is over here by the Grey Harbor Docks.
Not in here?
No, it's not there.
Okay. I thought there was something in here.
I don't like this conversation at all.
Meep beep beep.
I wonder if hitting
Let me
this
just
steel
trample
washer
over this
change
dead body. I'll be right back. Sorry, my fault.
Dead bodies everywhere. Dead bodies everywhere.
Where are you going? Go this way, you baboon.
Whoa, can't say that.
Talk to myself, I can.
Bro, you can't call yourself that.
Oh, did we leave?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I was rearranging shit in my
Oh,
inventory.
yeah. I remember you have to, there's
I'm
like
running out
a
of spell
cliff,
slots here,
right?
just FYI.
I don't know. I don't actually remember.
Hey.
Hey.
Do we have to talk to someone down here or something?
I don't know. No, we're doing. George said there's something over here, so I assumed he knew.
Oh, one of y'all need to talk to people here. Christy. What?
I mean, who do we need to talk to?
Anybody. We're looking for the person who killed him.
This freaking
Poisoned
guy.
him or whatever.
I hate sending Lee packing the girls off without me. But if that smuggler can get them to Waterdeep and away from the Absolute...
Isn't it on the other side? Because isn't it? I'm pretty sure if you're talking about getting like the robes or whatever for the Water Queen or whatever.
Yeah, we're doing the Waterdeep quest.
It's tied to the underwater thing.
Are we going to save all those people from that facility?
Yeah, I think it's the guy who drives the submarine or whatever. You have to kill him.
I think
Yeah.
it's this guy, Smiley Grief.
I don't think it's that guy. That's not the guy. The guy who drives the submarine is a dwarf.
Oh, that's right, my fault. He feeds
guy.
Slayfoot?
Close to landing that dick.
He's not anywhere out here.
Oh, my fault.
He's in the warehouse across the way.
Oh, that's right, my fault.
It even says Avenge the Drowned. Find the poisonous beast's master.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I can't go down there. How come you guys can go down there?
What do you mean?
I tried to go down there, and it says I can't go down there. That Steel Watch stopped me and said this is a restricted area.
Skill issue, honestly.
What the fuck?
Where we gotta go? In this area?
He's gonna
We have
get
to
us
find it.
It's at the thing. It's across the way. It's down over here. I can't really ping, but you need to go down here.
Climb down the ladder. Something over here.
I go over here.
Got a key.
Over here somewhere. I don't want to go too far though. I think it's actually in this whatchamacallit.
Oh yeah, this double metal door area.
I think there's another way in though.
Yeah, I think through the roof.
The scales are still glistening with seawater. These fish were freshly caught.
Scales are so glistening with seawater.
No.
What were you doing?
Clicked on the rotten fish,
Oh.
and it fucking made me roll. So I lost the roll.
Feather fall.
Oh, you guys went on the roof, or you went?
We went on the roof, yeah. I
Oh,
thought there was an
okay.
entrance up here.
$15.
You got this.
Game.
You can do it.
That one. Got it. Easy game.
Amazing. Just an FYI, if it's going to be a fight, though, we probably need a long rest. I have no spell slots.
It's like animals right inside. Did you see Wolf? Almost Wolf did back out.
I didn't see what it was, but I saw
Where did you
a
jump
red
from? I see.
cone.
Right.
There we go.
That's long. Yeah, that's long rest. Hold on, oh, babe, don't open that door.
Do not open that door.
Don't open that door. Long rest it real quick.
Chrissy is the type of person to be like, "How did you die?" And her answer is, "What does this button do?"
Okay, I just want to
That
remind
fucking
everybody
child's
here
here
that
again.
we haven't died yet because of me. Okay?
You don't do anything.
Yeah, exactly. I'm playing it safe. Because we're playing on our mode.
No kids allowed. Come back in 10 years.
That's what I keep telling him too. Also,
already told
Will
you no,
wants
I
to
meant
talk to somebody.
Okay, she said she's leaving.
That's what she keeps saying to me too. Keep telling her to leave.
Next time we'll just
Babe,
kill
look,
her.
it's Ember.
And then we're gonna make the fucking oath knight mad.
Why is Will
Told you it was
standing
Ember.
by me when I talk to freaking Mizora?
What's she doing? What's the cat doing?
That's Ember.
I know.
Oh, it's a cat? For all I know, that'll piss off the fucking whatchamacallit. Oh, yeah, our chair's still here.
PETA?
Our chair into the ether.
Uh-oh. What
Oh
now?
God.
Okay.
Why am I being focused on?
I was being
Okay,
focused on
dude.
too.
I think it
I
just
thought
does
they were
that
gonna
because
have a
we're all...
cutscene.
Yeah, I think it's just because
Oh,
we're all
man.
sleeping separate now.
Thank
Ew,
God.
Mazora's here and wants to talk to us.
Hot as brimstone and
Oh.
searing like you're hungry for pleasures beyond this plane. Something more satisfying.
There you
Sounds
go, Wolf.
delicious. What are you suggesting?
Ecstasy of agony. Smile, and I'll come to you when you put your head down to rest. I will sate your most for tonight. Then be ready.
Oh, yeah. Anything to piss off Will. Sweet.
All right.
Well, first off, first things first, Mizora, how do you feel about equipment that's been touched by tentacles?
What?
What's
She's like,
valid
you're
question?
quite gay.
Volatile shield. Buff up.
All right. Let it down to camp.
Oh, we were gonna buff up.
Oh, my fault.
Also, I don't have any more elixirs of strength, so
There you go.
I'm trying to do this. There we go.
Been aided. Hit me with that long
You got
strike.
AIDS.
Got AIDS.
You're right. You're right. Thank you. I always
Yeah.
forget to do this.
Wow. That's wild. I was like, I don't have any more potion of strength, and then freaking George just drinks one
Nah, it's,
right in front of her.
it's okay.
I need it.
Oh, I know. It was just funny. Oh. Oh, I've been inspired.
You still can't play.
Still can't play anything, but I've been inspired.
It's like that video of the bard. He's like, bard, I need healing. Yeah, you feel it strong. You feel it strong. Yeah, you're healed up. You do anything, bard. I feel slightly better, but not much.
Oh man, it's great. It's awesome.
Fucking love that video. Literally, Wolf as a bard. Bard, I need healing.
I love the idea of casting spells with music. I think that shit's so cool.
Fucking bard, then.
It's just so cool. I wish that if you multi-class with Bard, that all of your spells would be cast via your instrument.
Well, some of mine actually are through instruments now, like this one. That one. Not that one. Some of my spells, my cantrips, are actually casted with my fucking instrument.
Are these
now.
guys bad guys?
Cool.
Yes, I think they are.
He's gonna go see.
Go, Gab, go.
I'm the Lorax. I speak for the trees. If you litter again, I'll break your fucking knees.
For the trees.
No, they are bad.
Oh, okay.
They're just automatically red. There's a dead goblin in there.
These damn
Snap.
crystals.
Ripper. Oh! Oh, you saw me.
Yep.
Sorry, I wasn't paying
Going
attention.
first.
Oh, you're good. I'm gonna do something pretty cool.
I'm gonna try and do something for once too.
They don't see me. Well, they saw me. That's okay.
Let's see here. Hopefully they don't see me. Hiding successful.
Breathe deep and move.
There are a lot of them here. Holy. Out.
There we go. Oh. What's up, dude? That's crazy. Ow. Also, my Hellish Rebuke, I used my thing, Wolf. Stupid loot.
George, I can help, but you might get hurt.
Just do it. I'm gonna die, but just...
I might actually kill you if I do that.
Just do it. Okay.
Yeah, do it. Do it, Christy.
Oh. All right, George. Well, if you die, Gab said do it.
Bet.
I was talking to Christy.
Nice.
Ow.
Thanks, Wolf. Revived me in a pool of electric water. Thank you.
No, actually, your unstable blood made it not electric anymore.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that shit.
Is my thing gonna follow me?
Yo, that
or
Spectre
what?
is sick. I think it does.
Well, he's not.
You control him. Make him move. You might just not be going far enough.
Can't give up now. Can't slow down.
Look at that dead gobbling.
Oh yeah, he's just sitting there.
Where is there's a thing in here somewhere. We know there is. Oh, it's over here.
There we go.
All right, to piss off Gortash.
Still in control.
Oh, it died.
Let's be on my way.
Yeah, are we gonna piss
Rip.
off Gortash here?
Yeah, if we go down there,
I
we'll
don't
piss
know.
off Gortash, but I don't think it really matters.
Should we do Orin first?
I don't think it matters. 'Cause all Christy wants to do is talk to Orin, so I don't think we piss off Gortash. It don't matter.
We can
Okay.
do Orin. We can go do Orin. Yeah, I'm down. I'm down to do Orin.
Okay, let's just do
No,
Orin,
I
then we
was
can come back
asking.
to-
Wait, I
Okay.
thought we were killing
And
Gortash
I actually do want to do the
first.
bowl stuff. Do what?
That's why I said that. I was just asking.
That's what I'm saying, baby. You gotta speak up because you said you want to kill Gortash first. Everyone wants to do Orin first, so what do y'all want to
No,
do?
we could
I
do.
feel
We
like
could
doing
do
Orin
Gortash.
first would be better. Well, wouldn't it be?
I don't know.
I feel like for the Dirge
Because we
War,
told.
Gortash is better. Oh, I
Well,
didn't mean
let's
to do
throw
that.
him off the fucking
technically
roof,
with
dude.
Nerd stuff, you should do Orin first, in my opinion.
Well, let's throw him off the fucking roof. Isn't he somewhere where I could bring him to the fucking and throw him off?
Also,
Where's
I
he at?
thought we wanted to destroy the steel foundry or whatever before we fought him.
Yeah, we gotta do that.
'Cause all the steel watchers are gonna fuck us up. So what's the plan here? Are we going to Bowl Sanctum? I think doing Bowl Sanctum would be fun. Christy would get an absolute plethora of Dirge lore.
Plethora.
That's my opinion. I have a vote. My vote is for Orin and the Bowl stuff.
I follow because I don't know shit about nothing.
I'm just along for the ride, so whatever Christy's vote is, that's my vote.
Okay.
Go ahead, Christy.
No pressure.
I still think we should save Orin for last.
Okay. Gortash it is, baby.
Oh, okay.
You killed her. I thought you killed her.
So did
I thought she was dead.
He just falls even farther.
I pushed her
fuck?
when she. I pushed her when she ran down here.
Didn't
but
even
then
hurt
she
him though.
moved just
That's
as I
kind
pushed
of
her.
interesting.
What the heck? He's broken.
Oh,
Oh, there it
look,
goes.
that's metal trunk. I forgot how you
All right,
get
let's
this.
save Orin for last. So we gotta go kill Gortash first, and we gotta go back to Steel Foundry.
I forgot how we get this.
Or we could do this stuff, huh? Just shoot it. Or throw
Just
something at
shoot
it.
it, babe.
Move
Yeah.
out of the way.
Actually, yeah, just shoot it.
Christy, move.
Maybe
You're
I got
gonna
it.
It's gonna
hurt
land
yourself.
on you.
There you go. Now do it.
Okay.
No, she's gotta do it. She's got that blast.
There we go. Yeah,
Keep
Eldritch
doing
Blast is
it.
better, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Take it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wonder what's past this.
Got it. It's fish.
I'm gonna go. Yep.
It was a fucking fish.
Wolf, look. I broke the. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. I'm in legal territory. Fuck.
What? What'd you do?
You've been
Oh, they're
caught
yelling at him to
lurking
get
around the
out.
Sword Coast's most secure bank
Oh,
without
God.
permission.
I'm dead.
The guards are
I'm dead.
Oh, he's so dead.
Yeah, let's not follow him.
I'm running away.
Yeah, go to camp.
I'm in your thing. I can't do anything.
Wow. 23. Okay. One more time.
Yeah.
For the money? Hey!
You are
I'm
permitted to
fine.
pass with your legs intact.
What just happened? Oh, they kicked me out. They kicked me out. What's goody, gang? I'm over here
I
now.
saw you disappear, and I was like,
I thought I died. You're like the Sopranos in the ending.
I'd never seen it. I
What
only watch good
now?
movies.
That's a
Well,
TV
if
show
we're gonna
there,
do,
Wolf.
if we're gonna do same thing. If we're gonna do Gortash, we can go down here, do this thing, and then we don't really have to save anybody down here.
Yeah, we already lost what's his fucking face anyway.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
What-
I mean, you
Marcus?
can save Will's dad down here.
Are we going down there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, this guy doesn't pay
Go.
attention.
Let's go.
Oh, because
Yeah.
Christy keeps going back and forth. She wants to do Gortash first, or Orin, or whatever.
I
No,
never,
she's
we're gonna do,
said
we're
I.
gonna do
been
this
saying
because this
that
will
she
piss
wants
off
to do
Gortash.
Orin.
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh, my bad, Gortash. You guys are the ones that wants to do Orin or Wolf.
Yeah,
primarily.
babe. Apologize.
Well, yeah, doing Orin, you
I
get a
only
shit
said it
ton of
'cause it was
Dirge
easier.
lore.
I
Yeah,
thought
but let's remember,
be
this is
easier.
Christy's run. This is a Dark Urge run. So, whatever she wants
So
to do.
we're gonna go
I know.
do this thing, and then we got to go destroy the Steel Foundry, and then we'll go confront Gortash.
Okay.
Yeah.
I follow
We
y'all.
want to do it that way. All right, going down.
Just out of view.
Bet.
Lego.
Just want a little.
I wonder if the gods are watching.
My bad.
I thought that was the actual person in the game. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, Christy. Oh, she's
playing
Luke
Rogue.
Goblin. Freaking Luke Goblin over here.
Underwater
Babe, I feel like you would love playing a
plans.
rogue. What does this lamp do?
What does pump room button do?
What does pump room button do?
Bronze
Alright.
ingots.
Go in, Christy. Go in.
Let it go.
I don't think anything really happens here. I think we go in, we talk to the dude, and then he takes us under there, or we kill him, and then we can go under there, or we can just kill him. And
Wait,
then...
isn't there something in one of the prison cells? I forgot.
Well, if I know.
Wolf Gab, could I ask y'all a question?
No.
But brushing your teeth 4 times in a row a little too much?
Yeah.
Yes.
Why are you doing that?
Nah, they're just breaking down this quarterback's morning routine. He manually brushes, then electric toothbrushes, then manually brushes again, then manual brushes a 4th
That
time.
sounds
with a
like,
different
yeah, I was
toothpaste.
gonna say, that sounds like OCD.
Yeah, you can damage your teeth that way.
Yeah, I
You
was
can
gonna
actually
say-
pour
Too
your
much
own, like,
fluoride.
Probably
His
needs a
enamel's probably
therapist.
so brittle.
A negotiation.
Why?
Oh, Gortash.
Okay.
A greasy, smelly climb down. All right. Greasy, smelly climb down.
Oh, greasy, smelly climb down.
Also, machine part storage over here.
Sounds like Wolf on a Friday night.
Yo. You're pissing me off.
You're pissing me off.
Oh, and yep, down here is the dock where we go down to the deep dark, deep down.
Oh, Infernal Iron.
Oh, for what's her name? Thieves
I
tools.
totally forgot about her.
Nah,
Yeah, we
she's
all
about
did.
to die.
Yeah, she gonna die.
Alrighty. This is the subaquatic dock. Gotta go talk to
show
this
you
guy
a
or kill this
subaquatic
guy or
dock.
do whatever, and then we can go down there. We can try to save everybody, or we can just not.
Wolf, do you want left or right?
What are we talking here?
Of the facility.
Don't matter to me none.
Wait, don't we just
Okay.
talk to him?
Yeah.
Oh, what are we sneaking for?
I don't know. Why are you
When y'all
sneaking?
did it.
You're the only one sneaking.
Something good here, I hope.
Skippity skip.
Abba's gonna keep sneaking, which is probably smart. In
A
case
metal
she hits the
crate.
fan.
What's in there? Oh,
Oi,
it had fish in it.
you ain't supposed to be down here, mate.
You spot
the
a
hell
curious
is this
looking
guy?
contraption in the water. A submersible.
No news is good
I shouldn't
news,
even want
right?
guidance.
Especially with the rough water between here and
This-
the Iron Throne.
Got a pep in her step.
No prisoners lost in the last batch of runs either, though them servants of
Ah,
Umbra are
the-
making the trip damn near deadly. Bloody salt is always flopping around in the water. I've almost hit one or two now. Might have even nicked one off the port bow the other day.
The other
Maybe
day.
I'll teach them to keep out of the way.
Wait. You killed one of the servants of Umberly. Now they want you dead. Who do that. Never heard of this Iron
yeah?
Throne.
And are you here to make good on that?
Perhaps.
Well, why does he look like a midget version of Geralt
Should I
of
just say
Rivia?
depends?
Yeah, I would do one.
You're testing me. All right. It's an underwater prison, most secure in the realms. Myself and Cap are the only ones who can make it there in one piece. Lord Gortash keeps some Gondians there. Collateral to keep those working in the Steelwatch Foundry under control.
Oh, yeah. So if we do save them, it will make taking out the Steelwatch Foundry even better. Or easier, I should say.
Yeah, if we're gonna kill Gortash, we need to.
So it might be good to go down there and save everyone.
Yeah.
Bloody mermaids.
Bloody
take you in.
mermaids.
But look, there's some bad shit going down in there. You don't want to get involved. Neither did I, but it was them or me. I'll get Cap warmed up. Get in when you're ready.
Then when we come back up here, we can kill him. Alrighty, well now we get in the submersible.
Let's go.
Hey, Iron Throne.
Let's go.
Is that from Game of Thrones?
Get in the throne. Iron Throne.
Oh my god, I just forgot. Like, we have to do this in like a certain amount of turns, right?
Yep.
It's
Yeah,
probably
do
gonna
we
be
really
harder.
care about
It's
it?
probably gonna be harder on
Maybe
honor
Ellie's
mode.
dead.
No, we gotta get the Gadian people out. That way the foundry shuts down.
Yeah, what
Yeah,
if
we
they
don't need
die?
to worry about killing things. We just have to save as many of the guys as we can.
Yeah.
I mean, if we can't kill them, awesome. But if you can like stun them or anything like that,
Yeah.
that thing's cool. This reminds me of the fucking Star Wars movie. There's always a bigger fish,
Hey, look, Wolf. There's always more fish.
right?
Okay.
Aren't you the
Why is it
intrepid
me?
little adventurer,
Uh-oh.
digging and diving where you don't belong? And I thought we were friends.
He's mad. What do I gotta? Fuck you, Gortash.
Fuck you, Gortash.
Forgot about that.
You've been spending too much time with young
Fuck you,
Carl.
Gortash.
It's affecting your manners and your intelligence. Your presence here is a threat to the survival of the hostages inside the Iron Throne.
Yeah. You're gonna
Dead.
self-destruct.
They're no use to me, so I keep them safe.
I just realized he skipped a hole on his fucking
I'm
robe.
prepared for this eventuality.
Yeah, he
And if you interfere, I will
Actually, he skipped
destroy
two.
the Iron
I
What
just
the
realized
fuck?
that too. What the heck?
Return to the city.
When he goes down for with his ladies, easy access.
As you agreed to
What
do.
the yeah, dude.
And then I will
They're
forget
completely
this
uneven.
transgression.
Your conscience pricks. You did agree to an alliance after all. But then again, what honor need there be with someone like Gortash? How many
I'm
people
an
are
Oathbreaker
trapped
paladin, so I
within?
don't give two fucks.
How many lives will be lost?
Talk at the Iron Throne.
Don't have to tell me
It was
twice.
a mistake. When the corpses start to wash up on the shore, remember, you could have prevented all of this.
We long rested, right? Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We load in. Where are my spell slots? I wish there was like a line you can pick where it's like, yeah, I'll turn it around, lie to him, pass a deception check, and still go anyway, buying you more time.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
That'd make it
babe,
too
when
easy.
you were talking about the fish people, like, earlier, the other day or whatever, I thought you meant actual
Alright,
fish
once we
people,
go down
not the
there-
mermaids.
Turn base will
Oh,
start.
the
We ready?
fucking Fish.
No.
People with sea.
Okay, so what
Yeah,
would
the
be the
mermaids.
most beneficial?
We need to get as many people up here as possible. So we need to run
So-
around, unlock doors, open doors, and protect
That's
them
what I
from
was
the
saying.
creatures that are going to come
Wolf.
down here.
You want me to take right?
Sure.
There's more people right. Gab, if you want to go straight, you can. You and Christy can go straight. Wolf, you can go left if you want to take those guys
Where?
out.
I'm down.
Okay.
All right,
I'll
you
go
ready?
Right. Yep.
Bet. Going in.
All right. Lego.
Halt.
A cold
Oh, your
Oh.
boyfriend.
wetness grasps
Fucking
at your
boyfriend,
Sorry,
bro.
guys.
Why am I in the
I gotta take
cutscene
this
with you?
call. I gotta take this call real quick.
He's on his
Fucking
fucking
lay
bench
down, start
twiddling the
kicking. I lay down, start kicking my feet up.
twirling the phone cord.
Why the fuck is this dude
Well, this isn't even
talking
that
to us?
same. This isn't even the Emperor. This is the other dude. Why is
It's the
Omelum
dude
talking?
from the under. Yeah.
Because he's here.
Yeah.
No, he's
no,
talking to you in his brain.
People's lust for
No,
pleasantry
yeah,
and
he's here.
community.
He's trapped.
Unfortunately,
We could save
have
him.
no time.
Oh, that's right.
There are many hostages here. Duke Ravengard, chief among them. He needs your help.
Where are you?
Tell me what
Where
to
are
do.
you?
He's not gonna
Duke
tell you what to do.
Ravengard is held in the security wing. Be careful. There are many hazards. This structure is collapsing. Act with speed. Act with
Yeah,
efficiency.
he's not gonna tell you anything useful besides the security thing.
Okay, let's do this.
Oh, we gotta
Oh.
go down there still.
Okay. All right.
I'm going left. You said.
Yep. I'm gonna go right. Christy, Babe, and Gab, y'all go straight. So. See y'all down there.
Yeah, down the ladder.
Hey, what's goody, Shoegan?
Not enough movement.
That's crazy, because I'm not dealing with your bitch ass. Fuck you. All right.
Don't take your turns.
Yeah.
Let me look around. Okay, so I just go straight here, south.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Also, if the counter goes to 0 while we're all here, one of us is here, yeah, they die. So. Oh, nice. Duke.
Have to keep going.
Got the Duke. There's people in it. Okay, there's more people in this cell here. All right, just for good measure, play a song. All right, ending my turn.
Bring it, you fucking hunters.
Oof.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We only have 5 turns. This is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a really big area, especially if we all kind of separate. I guess I got the quote more important. Don't you do it. That's rude. Duke, I need you to get the fuck out of here, buddy. I'm not. No. Not in the lifted.
Yeah, Wolf's Lifted power is going to be very useful here.
Can you
Damn.
fucking not? That buddy pal?
Nice.
Might want to give him some milk.
That's not very nice.
Needs
That's
some
not very
milk.
nice. Duke Ravengard, it's your turn. Oh, I control him?
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Can you disengage and then run away?
I can
you
do
get through
something
'em?
better than that. Fuck.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, I can disengage. Yeah. Woman, which way you want? What do you want to? I can't go outside. He's completely blocking.
Oh. Can you shut the door?
That I can do.
You might have to pull the
No,
lever.
I cannot.
There's a lever right behind me. On the wall. I don't know if you
I
can
can't
get
reach
it.
I'm gonna disengage.
Damn. Okay.
Just gonna stay right here. Of course.
Oh god.
Listen. It'll be
I
alright.
have to go down here? Who the fuck is down here that I'm saving?
Get out of here.
Santoria?
Goody pussies.
This bitch? Who's this? Oh, the Emilium is all the way down here. I see him.
Yep.
Yeah. Those people are strained over there.
Okay, hold on. I'm thinking here.
see the block, but I think that would still do damage, right? Oh, well. Okay, well, one's dead.
Nice.
Actually, I can move a little bit more. That guy in front of Duke though, George, is dominated, so he won't hurt you.
Okay, good.
Don't hurt Duke no more.
Oh wow, this is about to be crazy. Okay. Cool.
Hit me.
What the fuck just happened?
Are you gonna save him?
Yeah, I'm looking for. What the fuck is it? I swear I picked up. Oh, it's a bonus action. Okay. Alright. No. I think I'm just gonna not do anything. They can't get in, the door's locked.
George, you got more doors to open over there. Over the doors. Just kidding.
I'm working on it.
What are you doing? What's the whole?
You jackass.
I forgot. How do I get to these people?
You gotta do this lever, baby.
The lever? Where's the lever?
Yeah. Here, let me look at you. Where you're at.
There's a lever. Right
Oh,
in front of
right
your door.
there.
Right next
How
to
do
the door,
I
yeah.
get? Can I get?
Just go.
Can I go through the
Misty step or
water?
run. Yeah, you can, babe. They're standing in the water. You can walk through that.
Oh, wait, shit.
Yeah, Misty step. Yeah, there you go.
Or do that. Bada bing, bada boom. And now you have
There
to
you go.
protect them from the creature.
Yeah, you gotta protect him. Yeah, that's the hard part. Listen, you little fucking scaly fuck! I'm gonna kill you. Okay, so can you move him?
I can't, his turn's next.
Okay, never mind. I can just jump over.
Bet.
Uh-oh. There she is. There she
Oh,
is.
she's mad.
Yep.
Well, look who it is. I was hoping you'd
That's why she was
found
staying with
along.
us, Wolf.
A bargain's a bargain, and I've come to see it through.
Oh, she gonna
Mia
kill him?
Furia. Kneel for me.
What a time.
Man, do I piss
If
her off and
only
risk
Will
not
were here to see
getting
this.
any, you know?
This is what he wanted, after all.
We don't have any
Now,
bargain.
Stand back and enjoy the show.
Oh no.
We like didn't have a contract, so I don't understand what she's talking about.
Well, the contract was her dad's life, or his dad's life.
Yeah.
Joke's on you, they're on my side.
Duke might die. Because Wolf, do you see what they have?
He'll be aight.
He be aight.
Fiendish obedience.
I mean, if he dies, I'm not that upset about it, because I just want the other people to live.
Yeah, the
Make the
Guardian or
Steel
whatever.
Foundry thing better, so
Yeah.
I don't really care that much. And I think
Yeah.
if we save her, or we save him...
Oh!
Hello?
I don't think we're saving him. Wolf, I can't control him anymore. What happened?
Oh no.
It's okay. Oh well, it doesn't matter.
What happened?
We don't have a choice anymore.
Combustion
I
belly
dominated-
Yeah, the
spiderling.
spider.
I dominated this guy,
Yeah.
and when the
Oh.
spider ran away, this guy retaliated or whatever. opportunity attack, and then it exploded and killed him.
Yeah.
Funny as heck.
Yeah.
Oh, what? How do I open this door in here?
Ah,
Is there a
damn it, I
lever? There
forgot
should
to
be a
turn
lever.
streamer mod on.
Lever
Okay, but where's the lever?
next to the door. Typically, it should be.
I
Got
don't
it.
see it.
Don't worry, I got you guys.
I'm gonna close this door.
Oh,
and
right
I'm gonna let that
here.
guy be in there and fight those things.
Yeah, I'm coming. Also, I think you can shoot the lever with the arrow.
Let me
That'll
see if
work.
I can.
I think
Path
you
is
can.
interrupted.
I need this guy to fall down.
There you go.
Thank you. Now you stay like that. You good boy.
Oh, nice.
I'm in my turn here. Beautiful.
Where am I going? This way?
Where are you at? I think you go either way. I think that it all circles back around. If you go that way, you'll run
Oh,
into
I'm
George.
coming up on Georgian here. Okay, I see.
Yeah, we're right next to each other.
Uh-oh.
Gotta help. Second man. Uh oh, that's okay.
I got a few fuckers in here with me.
They're all gonna disappear.
Yep. They did their job.
Christy, you appear to be in a predicament.
Yeah, yeah.
Just kill them.
Nice.
Nice.
Hey, these guys don't mean shit to you.
Now put yourself between the little guy and that thing.
I think he just hit him through her.
Oh, that's not what I meant. Wow.
That's what she meant. That is
to the
what
left,
she meant.
a little.
There.
You know what? That's probably good enough. You could actually probably have closed the door too, but oh well. Sight.
Uh-oh. Oh my god. Why is he throwing that spear a little weird like that?
Have we got everyone?
There's still someone right here. In the chair.
Someone
I
by
gotta-
you, but I think have we opened all the doors?
No, I'm about to open the last one.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
another one in this chair.
Nah, he's alright. He's fine.
Yeah, just leave your friend there. Don't worry about it. Bunch of assholes.
I will aid you as much as I can, but hurry. We have little time.
Hey, Omulum.
Who's controlling him? Oh, Gab's controlling him.
Gab is, yeah.
Hmm.
I hated that it gave me fucking Duke Raven Guard as to be control. I'm like, why? I'm way over here.
Hmm. Where am I gonna go?
Oh,
I
there was
guess.
a parasite specimen in there.
Do you want it? You want to pick it up?
No. It's okay. I just saw it in there.
Okay.
That's probably logically not supposed to be able to be done. What you just did.
Yeah, I don't know what's
don't
going
think-
on.
They forgot to
Where
code
did
in
he go?
roofs on this fucking level. The
If
water
that roof
magically
is just-
stays away.
I'm
If
just
that
looking
roof,
at his
yeah,
spells
if
real
that
quick.
roof is just gone.
Yeah, dude, it's non-existent.
Chrissy, just know, if you die, it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
Okay.
All right. I'm curious. Let me.
I need.
There you go.
Shoot. I might just run.
Okay, how do we get out of here?
Go all the way back to the submarine.
I know, but which way do I go?
This guy literally right in the front.
I know, but I'm lost. Should I just teleport Omelium to the ending? Oh, I have to come all the way here.
Hey, buddy, I'm gonna knock
I-
you down again. I hope that's okay. Might run over here and try to help Christy a little bit.
Yeah. I think we just need to be up the ladder and we're considered safe.
Yeah.
As long as one of us gets there. I'm gonna shut this door,
there.
Christy, just for a second, so they don't come kill me. I'll come in there. I promise.
Okay.
I don't think I'm making it.
I'm
Ah, you got
starting
it.
to think I might not either. I'm all the way the fuck over here.
Do you have any
here.
like potion of flying or potion of?
I might. But this thing's right next to this guy, so we can't leave.
No, it's okay. If some of them are gonna die, that's fine.
Yeah, we're not trying to get them all
No,
out.
you gotta save
Yeah.
all of them.
Okay, well,
Shut the fuck up.
Wow. Okay. Well, George failed to protect that guy.
yeah, he did. And that
My
guy.
fault. Nah, he's fine.
Oh, I flew by those people. They should have ran
Those guys
faster.
are gonna die. So.
How are
Okay,
you? It's
should-
been a long time. How are you doing?
Should I just like leave then, or should
If
I
you want
kill
to,
this
yeah.
guy?
Can you get the person in the chair? I mean, if you could kill him, yeah, just get the person in the chair, and then 'cause they might be able to get out.
Let me see. Do I get a potion of flying? Oh yeah, I do.
I mean, the door is closed, so I'll have to open the door for you. But you know.
Why am I not flying? Oh.
Actually, can you just fly over the roof and into here?
I don't know. Oh, baby.
Just woke up, saw the stream notification. I got to get ready for work soon, but I had to say hi. Yeah, for sure. I always appreciate it when you come by. It's awesome.
Oh, it says I don't have enough movement.
Alistar, I'm pretty sure I've said this before, but Alistar was like my first ever
Can you dash?
non-family or friend subscriber on YouTube.
I think you said that before, yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Always
Cool.
a treat when they come by.
That's cool.
I don't
Have a good day
enough
at work,
movement.
though.
I think because I got the other person up.
Featherweight?
Yeah.
You just shoved Featherweight? That guy's name is Featherweight.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I'm gonna try to go all in to save these guys.
Oh. The guy took damage and I lost my dominate on him. That's so dumb.
Oh god. Bonk.
Shit. Run, Deedle. Deedle, run. Deedle, you're gonna get Deedled. Where the hell is he going? Never mind.
Oh god, I'm
Hey,
surrounded.
Christy, I need you to not die.
They disengage and run.
I think you have to get into the submarine.
Yeah.
You gotta go up the tube.
I'm gonna be lethargic.
Run,
Fuck.
Lindo, run! Oh god.
That's all right, Gab. As long, if you want, where are you going? Oh, the door's shut. That's okay. He's an idiot. Gab, if you're up in the
shit.
submarine, I think we'll be all right. Because at least
as long
one of
as
us
one
will be in the.
person. Yeah.
I'm just gonna teleport this guy up there.
Beautiful. I don't know how you did that, but beautiful.
He has a thing here. It says teleport to submersible.
Oh. Well, that's freaking cheating.
That's freaking cheating.
Well, that's
He's like,
freaking
hey, help us
cheating.
out, you cunt.
Why can't you
He does not
teleport
wanna
all
help
of us
us
to the submersible?
Yeah, for
Yeah,
real.
cunt.
Oh god. Blancy!
Holy, you about ate it, Bornwist.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
gonna do something.
I'm fucked up, y'all. Can't move.
Uh.
Well, I'm doing this for them, so. Let's do this.
Target
Trying to save these
bar.
cunts.
George, can you get to...
Get to where?
To the submarine?
I might be able to, actually. Hold on.
Dash, Christy, dash! If you can.
I can't. I had to disengage.
Oh,
Alright,
I
I
might
got
be
you.
able to, Wolf. I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna run all the way over here.
Oh,
we
shit.
have one more turn after this. Wait, this is the last
Run,
round?
Christy!
I don't have
Yes.
enough movement! Oh god.
Oh, God. I'm probably
I
gonna
think we're
die.
dead.
That was
think we're dead.
everything I had. Well,
I'm incapacitated because I thought I was safe right here.
fucking Christ.
No shot.
Wolf, are you up there?
Yeah, he's up there.
Hold on, grab the ladder. Okay.
Wolf's up there.
Okay. Well,
I made it.
I'm dead, so.
We're all dead.
Best of luck.
Goodbye, world. We're gonna be crushed under this water.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything
think-
else I could do.
I think these survivors might be able to make it.
I tried to displace. I turned into the displacer beast so I could move Christy to the ladder, and then.
Oh wait.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go, baby.
Nice.
Throw
Yeah,
me
climb
up
the
the
other
ladder.
ladder too.
Okay,
Amazing.
I had a potion of speed.
Okay, bye.
bye. Literally.
Oh, yeah, don't worry. I'm dead too, so.
We're
Yeah, I only had
gonna
one.
die.
I just saw it in there. I was like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Now, wait a cotton picking minute.
Whoa.
It's kind of interesting that they don't come up the ladder. It's weird.
They're fish. They're dumb. Oh, bro, you want to fight? Haha.
We're gonna get fucked up.
Every time my character dodges an attack, I think of fucking Pedro Pascal's character from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, me too.
Haha. It's fucking stupid.
The waifu's
Wait,
turn.
I have an idea.
Oh no! Don't kill him, Ellum.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because I just read it actually, and it's up to one ally.
Oh, that's
Nice.
sick.
I'm sorry, George.
No, that's okay.
R.I.P. George.
He's dying for the cause.
Yeah, for real. Oh, they're gonna make it. I think they're gonna make it.
Make it, boys.
Make it, boys. Okay, maybe not
I
every one
don't
of them.
know. Damn. Damn.
Well,
Damn, it's gonna blow up. And she's gonna be right there.
that sucks. Well, we tried. Yep.
Alright. Hi, baby.
Wait, we're missing someone.
Yeah.
You're always missing me. I'm never in the fucking
I know
cutscene, dude.
you actually made it out and you're not in the cutscene.
I know.
I could have done that way better the more I think about it. I probably could have done Displacer Beast right in the beginning.
Why did the game take you to the main menu?
To displace. So the game took you to the main menu.
The main menu.
Wild. Yeah, oh, sorry. I've actually had this mic for a while. It's been a long time since you've been by a stream, but yeah, this is the Beacon mic. I've had this for quite a while. The greatest USB mics ever. Not cheap though.
What?
What?
Hell yeah.
Ortash is mad.
The colors,
wouldn't you?
yeah, I got it in my color right now. And then once the software gets fixed for Linux, whenever I push the mute button, it'll turn red. It's pretty cool.
Calmness greets you as the submersible
I got washed up to shore with ogro nettles.
Bro, why am I never in the
Sumbo
cutscene?
Pumbo and Phoenix Lovin's. Y'all come get me. I'm at the shore.
Did we save anyone?
Yeah, they're all sitting right here in front of us.
Oh.
We didn't save nearly as many as I was expecting.
Yeah, same.
I'm
lethargic.
Okay, we also got to kill this guy. Do we want to kill this guy before we go get George?
Yeah, kill him there because I think there's a glitch or a bug. Like the game won't the game will load him out and we can't finish that quest.
Where's he at? Wasn't he just in here?
He's the dwarf.
Which one?
Gotta go up. We gotta go out.
I was gonna say, wasn't he just in the sub with us?
You were to administer Umberly's justice.
He went up.
Instead, you
yeah.
with the abomination.
He's pissed.
He who sickened the
gods, they're not.
Step out of
Wait,
the way.
what happened?
Protect him, and Umberly will swallow you whole.
He's all yours.
What? Mate, you've got to be
Oh,
kidding.
shit. There it is.
Come quietly.
Wave Mother's Road.
The Sea Queen will judge you.
I surrender, all right. You wouldn't hurt a harmless.
There we go.
Thanks for nothing, you prick. Shut up. I don't like you anyway.
Oh, I got it.
How did George get it? He's dead.
I'll get it from him.
Hey, you can't touch my stuff. Here, baby, you want it?
How is George on the shore?
Damn,
what happens
like
when you die. You get washed
Remember
up.
what Gortash said? He's like, your dead bodies will wash up on shore, and that'll be your fault. That's literally what
Where-
happens to
What's the closest thing to you?
I am close to the Beehive General Goods. So.
We're talking about the waypoint.
Yeah, the waypoint.
The lower city central wall.
Where is he at?
And it goes south. To again the Beehive General Goods store where I said earlier.
Where did?
I'm
Well,
coming.
there's a lot of stores in the fucking city.
What waypoint did you guys go to?
Lower city central wall. I
Okay.
guess south. Y'all could have just gone to Withers, you know that, right?
No.
Yeah, why would we do that?
Yeah, we have
Why would we do
scrolls
that?
for Vivify.
Yeah, we're not paying any more money to that fucking skeleton.
Wow. And granted, we could
respect
just
to
do
the
that
god
and
of
then
dead, all right?
talk at him.
Well, he fucked up and gave his dead powers
George!
away.
George!
Please, anybody else, please save me. I don't want this
George,
fucking
I'm coming!
No.
My boyfriend gave me
Get this
physical
guy
powers. I'm
away from me.
coming!
Get this motherfucker away from me.
I'm coming!
Yeah, please.
Unfortunately, I don't have any scrolls though, so.
Thank God, yeah, please get me up.
I mean, I can take a scroll real quick though, so you know, it's not that big a deal.
I'm surprised that my armor looks as good as it does for being submerged and put up into water. Thank you.
Like there were a lot more people that
Zumbo
died.
Pumbo.
Yeah. I think there were, yeah.
This is
Right,
all
now
of
we
them
can go to
here?
the Steel
Phoenix
Foundry.
Lovin's.
We can tell them to F
Yeah.
off.
The fuck did I walk
I think
into?
that's at the pier. I think at the harbor docks. Yeah.
What is Christy? What's happening to
I
Christy?
just was walking down there and I
Christy.
walked into somewhere.
Return to the pit
Oh,
of
No.
hey,
from
baby,
whence
looking
you
good. What the
came.
fuck? Oh, it's these guys.
I will eat your souls raw.
Wait, we
Calm down. I seek no trouble.
what?
Yeah, I would do calm down. I seek no trouble.
Uh-oh.
Listen. Who knows what spells it weaves around
It won't
us?
Wow,
fit you.
this dude is a bald
Helm,
dragonborn.
protector of all, grant me
Oh,
the power
God.
to ignite this creature's flesh and burn
Oh, that's right, babe.
bones to
Didn't you
ash.
eat the hag's hair or whatever?
Begone, monster.
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah, that's why they don't fucking care about you. They can sense the hag's power on you. This is what I call the consequences of your action. Oh, nice.
Wait. Clegg smells no
What does
lie.
Cled's nose look
Then
like?
you speak truth. You fought a hag before. At ease, everyone. We may have found ourselves an ally. Forgive the
How many
paranoia.
girls have that
We're
face?
being hunted by a vile
All the
and
human
wicked
Why does
girls
she
have this
kind of look
face.
like Amelia
We
Clark?
sought refuge here.
That's a
but
very
Is this me?
specific person, Wolf.
It's literally the same face as
Oh shit!
fucking what's her name?
Oh.
There! The doll! The doll!
Her name in the beginning with Edwin. His-
doll.
Brody's afraid of a doll.
Oh,
That's
okay.
crazy.
How did I fail
Oh,
the
babe, I
art
want
counter?
McDonald's.
You ever seen Dead
Do you
Silence?
actually
Dolls are
want-
fucking scary.
McDonald's, or are you just saying that? Like you always do.
I'm just saying that. Just saying it.
Magic infuses every thread.
Yo, Wolf, we should watch Dead
To
Silence.
Teleport, curse, and do harm.
Right.
However, with the right spell, it could be negated.
Uh-oh.
Blast it all. We need to find it before it hexes us. Spread out. Tear the house apart if you have to.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I was watching Christie's cutscene, so now everyone's left me.
Well, we're at
Yep.
the Gray Harbor docks for the facility for the Steel Watchers.
I was gonna go see what Christie's doing. She's got to go help find this dolly.
Damn, Christy leaving food hanging above the fucking thing up there.
What?
Like, there's like chicken and a leg of roast over there by that girl that you were talking to.
Found the doll.
Found the doll. Wolf grabbed the dude's random dick. Found the
Oh,
doll.
okay. I look better now.
Alright, babe.
We have to negate its magic. Okay, do we have like a silence or anything or something, you know?
George, we're kind of
Anybody have
hurt.
silence? We have to
I
negate
can
this
put
doll's
silence
magic.
on. Okay, I have
But a
silence.
flesh wound.
Where'd you go?
Gonna sell some stuff.
Oh,
Be back.
Probably a good
Steel
idea.
Watcher.
I'm trying to help Christy with this doll thing.
My POV, it just looks like you're walking around on the roof.
What do you know?
These people don't got nothing in here.
You're supposed to be helping them look for an evil doll, and you're stealing their stuff.
Typical.
That is pretty wild, if I do say so myself.
Shut up, Storm Sorcerer. No one cares what you think.
Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you over the sound of you having to be res from blowing up. Stupid. I'm just kidding. I'm the
Come here,
doll,
Stork.
and we gotta silence it.
Was there nothing up there?
I'm not looting. I'm trying to find the doll.
I'm coming to help you guys.
Oh, well, that's what I meant. You didn't find the doll or anything up there?
I did find the doll. I touched it, and then it like teleported away, and then it was like, you have to negate its magic.
Yeah, you got to do. What is it?
You have to like silence it or something.
Yeah.
I don't know where the doll is now.
All right. Oh, it's right here. Wolf. Up here.
Oh, did it come back?
No, up here.
Yeah, I'm coming up. I was up there. I just came down the stairs.
Oh, okay. My fault. Yeah, cast
it is
silence
right there.
on it, and then
I don't have silence.
I do, but I'm currently selling.
I think I have silence. Do I have?
Hey, do you have silence at all or no?
No, I don't.
Bet.
Serve for the steaks.
I look good. I can't really use this though.
I wish I had the silence.
I'm trying to hurry. I just have so much
take your
shit
time.
to sell.
There you go, Wolf. I gave you the robe. I just wanted to wear it for a little bit. I even dyed it for you.
Ooh, I'm looking nice. Hey George. how
Yeah,
you
it's like
doing?
kind of useless for me.
How you doing there, George?
He's gonna fucking end his existence right now.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, the red makes it look so much better.
Be quiet.
Now I can't
Laugh
take
it
it
off.
off.
Laugh it off, Brody.
Brody just wanted to get me down on the ground so he could look up my dress. It's
Yeah, so
wild.
he could have his way
Whoa.
with you.
That's it. I'm killing him. I'm killing him.
What did I do?
I'm killing Wolf. I'm trying to see if I have I don't have any silent stuff.
Hold on, I'm coming. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Wonder if I have a scroll of silence. Let me look actually.
Probably. It's up here.
Have any
Oh.
scrolls?
Hey,
Get
look at my
his own
backpack of
AutoZone.
scrolls.
A backpack of scrolls. I'll be right back.
Okay. Scroll of blindness.
Oh, I just realized she don't got no fucking cash.
Scroll of sleep.
Here we go.
I don't think a school of sleep will work. Well, you figure it out. I gotta pee, so I'll be back.
Okay.
Alright, sorry. I'm coming now.
You're good. Yeah, I don't have any. No, I don't have a scroll of silence.
Coming.
Okay. Oh, I have an arrow of dragon slaying. That'll come in handy when we actually do the dragon.
The hell, I clicked on to come to you. Let's go. Can't get there.
That's giggling.
You guys jump up there?
It's giggling. Hee hee. Oh my god.
Alright, where is it? Oh, right there.
Yeah, it's giggling.
It's silence. You gonna pick it up?
Always room for more.
Oh,
Oh, that didn't work. Oh, oh what?
Wait, why are they mad at us?
Why are they mad at us?
I casted silence on the doll.
Oh.
I literally just said I casted silence on the doll. And then they're mad at us.
Didn't work. Casting silence on the doll didn't work.
No, they got mad at us.
Grabbing it will likely do nothing. I have to negate its magic.
Ooh, I can actually destroy it though. Hey, I don't know why they're mad at us. But I think I am going to try to destroy the doll.
Okay.
No, they're bad
Oh, now they're
anyway.
friendly, and now there's just one of them. Oh.
No, they're bad. Look, he's bad.
One of them
He's a
is
red cap.
They were all bad, but now just Jatlo.
This red cap has an additional 40 hit points. Their strength and constitution scores are increased by 2, and they deal an additional 1 to 12 slashing. Huh. Not today, you ugly bitch.
Nice.
Thanks.
Reverberation.
Come and get me. Uh-oh.
Oh, what? What
Not
the
the
fuck?
crabs. He brought crabs.
He brought crabs.
All right, Alistar, you have a wonderful day at work. Appreciate you coming by. Oh, we gotta kill these crabs. No, low key, I'm just gonna kill him.
I think I accidentally hit the floorboard.
Incredible. Oh, you're kidding. I don't have enough. That's annoying.
Jatlo, you're about to go down, bro.
It's not everybody. Keep at a target.
Get on the ground.
Knock him down.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Nice.
Ow. Oh my god.
We are strong. Wow. So ashamed.
Oh, what? Did he just like...
Oh. I exploded.
Did he just...
that
Oh.
Nice.
with my dazzling
it's the
stinky breath.
The cheese.
Mm-hmm.
You cut the cheese.
Who farted?
I cut it. Me. I did.
Nice.
That was a stupid joke.
What the hell happened? She's dying. She's dying over there.
Yeah, she's dying.
Why do I keep hitting those stupid floorboards?
Oh my
Just make sure you
goodness.
click on them.
Hey, you can actually highlight them. Do you know
I thought I did.
Well,
that?
look, it's Pat.
Ew.
Wild.
This is what Jack Sparrow would look like if he was 5'2". I'm 5'2".
I don't think it's
everyone.
gonna hit anyone.
Rotten cheese
people
wedges
like-
on the ground now.
Yeah. That was so dumb.
Nice.
Get on the ground.
That guy.
Taser, taser.
Oh my god, we got more crabs. We got
Oh,
to
there
kill.
goes George.
Hello. This reminds me of a swing.
Let's swing.
He's dead. Oh, thank you, Adriel. Hey, what's up, girl? How you doing?
Okay.
I mean,
Wow.
thank you for your help, young one. Now I gotta act, tough for the ladies.
Okay.
I will grant you an aura of protection.
Dude, you almost
That's a
dazzled
fried
me.
crab.
I made sure I didn't.
Yeah, but that wouldn't affect you, Wolf, because you're a dazzling person.
I guess you're right. My fault.
A
dazzling personality.
Where's the last one? Oh, downstairs.
Kill it, Lord Paladiddler.
You fucking little
Crazy.
crab.
Insanity.
You guys think we get
I've
to the
interrupted.
door of
Oh,
the foundry and then we call it?
Okay.
Can't call it until we beat Gortash. I'm just kidding.
Oh my god.
Can't call it till we beat the Elder Brain.
Oh
Yeah.
god.
Well,
Hey, we did it.
I hope y'all are ready for a never-ending stream.
There's a wooden hatch here.
Interesting. Oh.
What? Did you just die?
Yeah, I triggered the trap on accident. Hey, except Staff of Interruption. Wolf, you can have that if you want.
What, did you go down the down the hatch? Oh, you did.
Yeah, I went to disarm the fucking thing, but apparently my character moved across another trap and it triggered. Fucking stupid.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Oh, hey, there's a safe somewhere.
Traveler's chest over here.
So there's a safe
know.
in the back that has.
There it is.
You find a safe? Where's the safe at?
Where's the trapdoor? Oh, it's right here.
Oh,
There's supposed to be a safe somewhere that has a bunch of whatchamacallit.
I got it.
Oh, bet.
Metal.
Cheese?
Nothing really of use.
More cheese to cut.
Oh, music box. Look at that.
Garlo's
Let
retirement
me get that
plan.
staff though.
Where's the hatch?
Right here,
My guy, see over.
I don't.
under the stairs.
Under the. Oh, I see it now.
Oh, that's what it is. Hey, Gab. There you go.
There's
the odd.
Christy, you said you got the whatchamacallit? You got the safe.
Yeah.
Jump for the acid barrel. There's a trap in there, I think. Yep. Okay. Careful.
Hold on.
Nice. There's another trap.
I'm gonna do this for the team.
Oh.
Nice. There's another trap there, I think.
Anything
You
good in
wanna see
the
something funny?
chest?
They're locked in there forever.
Wow.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm coming back. There you go.
I was about to kill myself. Wow.
That's insane.
I should have just killed myself.
Anything good, Wolf? Chef?
There was elixir crawler mucus, a superior elixir of arcane cultivation.
My
and
game
then a
is
jade,
broken.
and
It's
then I
not letting
think
me
that was
loot
it.
anything.
Well, if I gave you, I sent you the staff of interruption that I got from that stupid
Slim
quest.
fit outfit. Let's see what. I'll be the judge of that.
It actually looks cool too.
Can't reach this.
Oh. Okay.
Saying on Twitter.
She looks busty.
You mean X?
My ex.
Oh.
Oh, look, babe. There's...
I was
look
gonna
at
make a
these
joke,
underwear. Like little boxers.
It's Will Boxers, guys. Guys, we got Will Boxers.
Yeah, I sent them to George.
No, I
I
can't
sold 'em.
use your guys' dye.
You talking about the clothes you sent me, babe?
Yeah, look at the underwear.
Why did you send me underwear?
Look at it. They're like boxers.
Boxers. Yeah, they are underwear, but yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to this gate, and then we'll call it. And then tomorrow,
Gray Harbor Ducks.
take care of the whatchamacallit.
But
We'll take care of the steel foundry.
And Gortash.
and Gortash.
Yortish. Maybe I'll just fly in there right now. Kidding.
Where is it?
Where's what?
Over here, inside of here.
Yeah.
Checking their mail.
Checking their mail.
Yeah. Okay, I did it.
I see you, Steel Watcher. I see you. I wouldn't jump over there. You're gonna start a fight.
I wasn't doing shit.
I'll start a fight. No, I'm just kidding.
We ain't ready to start a fight yet, especially not when you have 1 HP.
I can take him. I'm him.
Okay.
Doug taught me that. I'm him, bro. Yo, well,
I'm
imagine
him.
I challenge a Steel Watcher 1v1. I'm at 1 health. He misses every attack, and I crit every of my attacks, and I win. You know that's possible, right? What?
I threw my produced flame at you with a 12% hit.
You know what?
Chance.
You know what?
That's rude.
Okay, ending it here.
Okay.
Game.
Okay.
Oh.
So fun. We're so far. I'm having so
We
fun.
are.
Oh my
We
god.
are so far.
So much fun.
Yeah.
And then we die.
We're almost there. Don't listen to
Oh,
George.
no.
Don't listen to him at all.
What if we do? We'll have to
Don't
start all
say
over.
that. Knocking on wood. Knocking on wood. My camera went
We
blurry.
would
I
have
don't
to
know.
start all over, and we're at
I got a
Act 3,
cat.
Oh, look at
Got a kitty cat. It's a kitty cat.
Wow.
Kitty cat.
She
Kitty,
left.
kitty, kitty cat. Kitty cat.
So pretty. No.
Making mofongo.
Kitty cat. Don't you mean dinner?
Oh, what?
Okay.
What?
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 What happened?
Okay. I'm gonna get a bed case.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Good
I'm
Good
gonna dip
night,
too, so
everyone.
bye. See y'all tomorrow.
Bye.